Baker here.
And these are his friends.
There's a group
Baker is still talking, so Matt will send you a separate cut sheet in a little bit.
Okay. The community that I've spent time
I'm sure we all know what he's saying, right?
Since March.
Yeah, nothing exciting.
Yeah,
will you have some like gangbusters music, like machine guns and stuff like that? You know, all sorts of sounds of combat and fire, so I can say we're going to go straight now to the Capitol,
We spent time
where the QAnon invasion is going on.
We have a lot of friends we have not seen for months, and we don't know when we will see them. There are lots of people we haven't seen in like forever.
It's a confusing, nonsensical, follow the science world, but it's the only world they know.
Those are the rules in this game that we all need to play by.
And they're the only friends Charlie Baker has.
My wife and my circle of friends has gotten very small.
Now's the perfect time to get a pair of premium wireless earbuds, and Raycon is the way to go. Raycon start at about half the price of other premium brands on the market, and they sound just as amazing. And Raycon's everyday E25 earbuds are their best model yet. You get 6 hours of playtime, seamless Bluetooth pairing, more bass, and a more compact design that gives you a comfortable, noise-isolating fit. Perfect for conference calls, video chats, or binging podcasts. Raycon was founded by Ray J, and celebrities like Cardi B and J.R. Smith have already given Raycons their seal of approval. I love my Raycons, and Grace loves hers, too.
Howie, I love my Raycons. Best birthday gift ever.
I listen to much better music than she does, though.
Hey, that's not true.
Now it's your turn to see what the hype is all about. Go to buyraycon.com/Howie. That's buyraycon.com/Howie. buyraycon.com/Howie.
Joe Biden's plagiarizing prowess proves one thing: he's been stealing all his life.
Why is it that Joe Biden is the first in his family ever to go to a university?
Why am I the first kid in 1,000 generations to be able to get to university?
Why is it that my wife, who's sitting out there in the audience, is the first in her family to ever go to college?
Why is Glennis the first woman in her family in 1,000 generations to be able to get to university?
No, it's not because they weren't as smart.
Does anybody really think that they didn't get what we had because they didn't have the talent?
It's not because they didn't work as hard.
Or the strength, or the endurance, or the commitment. Of course not.
It's because they did.
Better strap yourself in. It's time for the Howie Carr Show.
The last thing we need is Neanderthal thinking that in the meantime everything's fine, take off your mask, forget it.
Today I feel the same way as I did the day that Hillary Clinton called all of us in Middle America deplorables.
You could put half of Trump supporters into what I call the basket of deplorables.
Oh, not this again.
When President Biden said that we were all Neanderthals, it struck me as someone who needs to get outside of Washington, D.C. and actually travel to Middle America.
Get up and get out of this basement.
Live from the Matthews Brothers Studio.
This feels dreadful. The only way I know how to improve it is with a shredder.
Oh, do I get the confetti?
Please welcome Rip Taylor.
Rump swabs, hacks, and moonbats beware. It's Howie Carr.
So how's that riot going on Capitol Hill? You know, today was the day of the QAnon invasion. The House of Representatives, after they passed that abortion of an electoral fraud, let's make permanent mail-in ballot fraud permanent bill last night. They fled because there was going to be a riot. They announced that there was going to be an invasion of the Capitol today by QAnon. The QAnon army, no armies, divisions of them, more than brigades, divisions, regiments were coming to Washington to invade the Capitol. Do we have a do we have a report from the Capitol? They have cavalry and tanks. Let's listen to it. Oh my God. Listen to those deplorables, those irredeemables, those bitter clingers. They're attacking.
Bandit charge.
How dare they? How dare they? I was looking for a little more gang.
How dare you?
I was looking for a little more gangbusters than the charge of the Light Brigade, but I guess that'll have to do for the time being. So the point is, there is no invasion. There's nothing happening. This is another big lie. I mean, they keep saying these people believe in conspiracy theories. The same people are saying QAnon, whoever the hell they are. It's a couple of guys in a van down by the river. QAnon. They say they believe in these conspiracy theories. Now, this is being spread by people from like CNN, MSNBC, the New York Times, the Washington Post, who fed you 4 years of conspiracy theories about the Russian collusion hoax and never, ever have apologized for spreading that conspiracy theory, which was totally debunked, to use one of their favorite words. But so now they have a new conspiracy theory that QAnon wants to overthrow the government of the United States. And it just so happens that the first invasion came on January the 6th. Remember that? January the 6th. So yesterday, Ron Johnson, we were just talking about it during the crossover with Grace. Ron Johnson, the senator from Wisconsin, Don Johnson, as Nancy Pelosi calls him, the guy from Miami Vice. He asked the Capitol police chief, the one who's, or the assistant police chief, whatever she is. No, excuse me, an FBI official. Have you, that invasion, that insurrection, or as Chuck Schumer called it, the erection? During that erection on January 6th, were any firearms discovered in the aftermath of the erection or insurrection? Huh? To my knowledge, she said, we have not recovered any on that day from any other arrests at the scene at this point. I don't want to speak on behalf of the Metro and Capitol Police, but to my knowledge, none. And he said, were any shots fired that day? And she said, I believe the only shots that were fired were the ones that resulted in the death of the lady, meaning Ashley Babbitt, whose name must not be spoken, right? Because, that doesn't really fit the narrative. She was an unarmed woman, an Air Force veteran, a supporter of Trump. And she was gunned down. If it were different if she were George Floyd, say, an ex-con and someone who was apparently very high on drugs, would they be saying that she was shot down in cold blood? But nobody ever says Ashley Babbitt was shot down in cold blood, do they? 844-500-4242. That is the toll-free number of the Howie Carr Show. And I guess the other thing that is big today is the lifting of the mask restrictions in Texas and Mississippi, and tomorrow in Alabama. And I'm told, I read in a Wire story today, there are 15 states that no longer have mask mandates. I mean, even in Florida, you can have a mask mandate. So I guess Florida would not be included in that. But there is utter hysteria in among the adherents of the new state religion, COVID. They're just insane. They're pretending that this is the latest form of virtue signaling in Texas, is to say, here's a quote, I'm going to keep wearing my mask. I don't care what that Neanderthal abbot says. And this was posted on Facebook in Texas about several hours before the sock puppet in chief at the White House used the word Neanderthal. Remember when Donald Trump called MS-13 gang members animals, and he was the worst person in the world? Now it's okay for Biden, Dementia Joe, to call these governors of these states Neanderthals for following the science, as they always like to say, following the science. Biden thinks the name of the virus is COVID-9. He thinks it's killed 200 million Americans. He thinks it's going to be eradicated with a vaccine. But anyone who disagrees with him is a Neanderthal. It's let's see. Let's play cut two. Biden yesterday. We played this yesterday. Here it is.
And the last thing we need is Neanderthal thinking that in the meantime everything's fine. Take off your mask. Forget it. It still matters.
Is there something ironic about Joe Biden telling people to forget something? That's just me.
How dare you?
But anyway, here was Greg Abbott had a perfect response, the governor of Texas today, to Biden saying it's Neanderthal. Here's Governor Abbott from Texas, cut 3.
The Biden administration was releasing illegal immigrants into our communities who had COVID. The Biden administration was spreading COVID in South Texas yesterday because of their lack of constraint of testing and quarantining people who'd come across the border illegally. The Biden administration was exposing Texans to COVID. That is Neanderthal type approach to dealing with the COVID situation.
I dare say that would be an impeachable offense for a Neanderthal governor or president, wouldn't it, to be intentionally releasing illegal aliens, many of them criminals, all of them unskilled, not able to speak English, and infected with the worst disease since the Black Death, according to the Democrats? Here's Mississippi Governor Tate Reeves. He also lifted the ban on the requirement to wear masks. Cut 4.
Today, I feel the same way as I did the day that Hillary Clinton called all of us in Middle America deplorables. When President Biden said that we were all Neanderthals, it struck me as someone who needs to get outside of Washington, D.C. and actually travel to Middle America.
That'll be the day that he travels to Middle America. 844-500-4242. And so this is where we are now. You know, Joe Biden is saying that people are forgetting. Look in the mirror, Joe. If you got
in space lies an imperfect duplicate of the Earth known as the Bizarro World.
Joe Biden, you know, in his high school, there were several Neanderthals in there. Neanderthals still roamed the earth when he was in high school. It's a little known fact. I've seen stories that say a lot of humans have some Neanderthal DNA in them. Just pointing this out. Are Neanderthals covered under the hate crimes? Considering, again, some of us, maybe me, maybe you, maybe we have some Neanderthal genes, DNA in us. All right, 844-500-4242. Have you ever wondered what makes Omaha Steaks so darn good? It's the aging process. Omaha Steaks ages their steaks at least 21 days, 3 weeks, because that's the sweet spot. It's where the magic happens. You can try these mouth-watering steaks in the Butcher's Bestsellers Grill Pack. It includes 4 of their iconic and fork-tender Butcher's Cut filet mignons, 4 ultra-juicy burgers, 4 savory pork chops, chicken breasts, desserts, and so much more. This is a hell of a deal. This is really a lot simpler and a lot cheaper than going to a grocery store, and the quality of the meat you're going to get is much, much better because of the aging process. And now there is a special deal for listeners of the Howie Carr Show. So you are going to get 4 more chicken breasts and 4 more of those delicious burgers for free. Here's how you get this great deal and the great added on bonus. Go to omahasteaks.com and enter Howie into the search bar for this special price on the Butcher's Bestsellers package. When you enter Howie in there, you are going to get, in addition to the good price to begin with, you're going to get 4 more chicken breasts and 4 more of those delicious hamburgers for free. Omaha Steaks has been the leader in gourmet steaks and food since 1917. No one comes close to matching the flavor, tenderness, and value of Omaha Steaks. You're going to love everything. We've tried the pork chops, the chicken breasts, the desserts, the apple caramel tartlets. The potatoes au gratin, everything is great. And you get all this free stuff if you just type in Howie on the search bar. Go to omahasteaks.com, type keyword Howie in the search bar, and order the Butcher's bestseller pack today. Don't forget, you'll get the 4 free chicken breasts and the 4 burgers. It's a great deal to begin with, even before that. That's omahasteaks.com, keyword Howie. omahasteaks.com, keyword Howie. I'm Howie Carr.
He didn't come here to be made sport
Give me a
of.
yellow highlight.
Howie Carr.
Are we starting to feel bad for Joe Biden? Sorta. Are we going to play his gaffes anyway? Of course.
My name's Joe Biden. I'm a Democratic candidate for the United States Senate. Now we need to stand behind Jamie Harrison, the next president, next senator. I'm looking forward to appointing the first African-American woman to the United States Senate. Just like here in California, here in Nevada. Back in the spring, late fall, late spring, late winter, early fall. Anyway, you know what I mean. Look, tomorrow's Superstar Tuesday. I tell you what, I'm rushing ahead, aren't I? We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by you know the thing. It says you cannot have 20, 30, 40, 50 clips in a weapon.
Okay.
Too sleepy.
I'm ready.
Vice President, thank you.
All right, Chuck. Thank you very much.
All right. It's Christmas.
Sometimes I wake up and I think it's
Thank you.
1920, not 2020.
Hair loss is not one of life's more enjoyable experiences. If you're looking to fill in
I
your
think the actual
hairline
identity is
or
white
reverse years of
non-Neanderthal.
hair loss, excuse me, DeStefano Hair Rest.
I think we identify as white non-Neanderthal.
I think Neanderthals are members of a protected class. I think that was hate speech. Fuller, thicker hair so I can even wear it a bit longer. There are a few major decisions I've made in my life that I wish I did sooner. My hair restoration is number one. It was by far one of the best moves I've ever made. My hair looks awesome, and the confidence from having a full head of hair again has left me feeling Can we great. get that quote of that woman, the FBI woman, at some point? Can you get that? It's always better when we can play the cut. In the mirror, I see the new me with a full head of thick hair. For information on how to make the same choice I did, go to hairman.com/Howie. What are you waiting for? More hair to fall out? Get the hair you've always wanted. Hairman.com/Howie.
What deal can we have, Crazy Nancy?
The Constitution does not say that a person can shout wolf in a crowded theater.
But to be clear, you're not taking any arrows out of your quiver. You're not ruling anything out.
Good morning. Sunday morning. Chocolate candy, chocolate, and then we have some other chocolate here. Consistently practice social distancing.
Why does AOC complain that you have not been grooming younger people for leadership?
I don't know. You'll have to ask her.
That was kind of sharp.
I'm not a big needle taker. I had a hard time getting my ears pierced. I'm not a big needle taker.
Mother Earth is angry. She's telling us.
What do you think is causing this erratic behavior?
I think that the president has always had erratic behavior. I have ice cream in my freezer. I guess that's better than having Lysol in somebody's lungs.
Civilization as we know it, is that fake?
I don't drink, but I'm happy to have ice cream with anybody, anytime.
He tells it like it is.
I want you to know that every human being that works for you knows what a diseased hypocrite you are. We all know what you are.
Howie Carr.
617 says CNN keeps calling it an armed insurrection. Since the FBI has now essentially admitted there were no firearms seized from any of the January 6th protesters, can we now expect CNN to now start calling it the world's first unarmed insurrection? Yeah, they kept talking about the murder of Brian Sicknick, and it turned out he died he wasn't hit over the head. He died of apparently natural causes the next day. They did correct that in a tiny story after saying it hundreds of times that he'd been murdered. But I wonder if you're right, that will they correct this faux pas about calling it an armed insurrection? All right, time now for our cheap bastard deal of the day.
It's Howie Carr's cheap bastard deal.
Oh, yeah.
Sounds too good to be true.
Oh, no, it's real, and it's a steal.
deal.
You know there's plenty more when you shop at Howie's store for another Howie Carr cheap bastard deal.
Howie Carr, the cheapest bastard around.
Apex Entertainment is located right off 495, I-495 on Route 20 in Marlboro. It offers entertainment for the entire family, and it's pretty accessible from just about anywhere in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. And a lot of it's been shut down because of the panic for the last few months, but now everything is opening up. And so we're offering a special deal as Apex Entertainment is going to be running wide open, just like always. Joining us now is Rob Luzzi from Apex Entertainment. And today's deal is while supplies last, and there aren't many of them, you can purchase a $50 gift certificate to Apex Entertainment for just $25. That's half price. And it's good anywhere in the complex. There's 100,000 square feet. And you can use it anywhere. April vacation is coming up for the kids, your own children, the grandchildren, anybody. It's just fun for any kids from 8 to 80, as they say. Rob Luzzi, thanks for being with us here on the Howie Carr Show.
Thank you, Howie.
So what can people get at Apex Entertainment in Marlboro?
Well, at Apex being the largest family entertainment center in New England, basically there is a ton to do. I mean, it ranges from go-karts to bowling to bumper cars to our sports simulators. Thankfully, we are now able to open laser tag with the latest news. That's opening tomorrow.
Thank you, Charlie Parker.
And a new venture was a former business located in the same complex was unable to open, so we took it over. It's now going to be Apex Kids, which is a great opportunity for the younger children, an inflatable facility for them.
Oh, jumping around and stuff like that?
Exactly. That used to be BB Kids, and they were unable to reopen, so we took that over, and that's going to finally open next Wednesday, March 10th.
All right. So, and they can use the gift certificates to buy any kind of food or anything in the complex too, correct?
Certainly. It can be used for any attraction and food. And basically, you have the run of the property to do whatever you'd like on our other new attraction from another business that did not reopen, but we took that space over as well, and it's Apex Mini Golf, so it's a great opportunity year-round to play mini golf in our facility. That's on the top floor at Apex.
Oh, so there's just about everything you could want to do. What are the hours? Is it open 7 days a week, or what are the hours?
Well, for now, we are closed Monday and Tuesday. In a previous time, we were open 7 days a week, but that will gradually be changing. Thankfully, as well, we were able to, we're going to be adjusting the hours shortly. We had been capped at a certain time, but we're going to be extending hours shortly as well. So gradually, we're getting to the point where we all want to be, and people can enjoy the property and everything that we have to offer at all times.
And Howie, Rob today, he brought us in a massive, delicious, warm pretzel with honey mustard dipping sauce. And the whole office is very thankful. The food is delicious.
Well, that's great. That's available with the gift certificate from HowieCarShow.com, and click on store. And they're not going to be a lot. They're going to go fast. But Apex Entertainment, all kinds of stuff available. And you're open. You're open now, basically. So as soon as people get the gift certificate, they can come and enjoy the half price attractions.
Certainly. Today, for example, we open. We're open already. So but we're open till 9 at this point. But like I said, we'll be extending that. And the other, also wanted to let you know too, another popular attraction in the same building, but it's a partner of ours, the Altitude Trampoline Park. They finally got word that they can reopen, so they just reopened as well. So in the entire Apex building, you could virtually spend the entire day if you wanted to, doing all sorts of fun activities in a safe environment. The food is great. So,
and this is something it hasn't been available anywhere in New England, basically for a year.
Correct.
And now it is available again, and you can get the half price gift certificates, $50 gift certificates for $25 at HowieCarShow.com. Click on store, and you can get the cheap bastard deal. And if they want to, and if what's the web address if they want to check out what kind of attractions are available at Apex?
Sure, it's apexentertainment.com.
apexentertainment.com.
And we just we always just recommend, especially for some of the most popular attractions, you should certainly go on there and book time ahead for the go-karts and bowling, especially since those typically will sell out quicker than anything else.
And I think there's going to be kind of a backlog of demand too, isn't there, Rob?
I would think so, and we've seen a gradual increase in traffic. And welcome back to Apex, everybody.
HowieCarShow.com. Click on store and get the $50 gift certificates for $25 to Apex Entertainment in Marlboro, Mass. I'm Howie Carr.
As this year of COVID draws to a close, it's time to make sure your portfolio is ready for whatever happens next. Kevin Frisbee and the team at Frisbee & Associates are ready to help you. It's called the 100-100 Challenge. If you have $100,000 saved for retirement and come in for that no-cost, no-obligation consultation, you'll walk out with $100 cash. That's right, $100 just to let Kevin do a portfolio x-ray and see what might be hiding in your current plan. Call now for your no-cost or obligation consultation, and you could walk out with $100 cash. Call 800-989-9100. That's 800-989-9100. Kevin is a true fiduciary. That means by law, he's always working in your best interest. And be sure and catch Kevin on the Howie Carr radio program every Thursday afternoon for a market review and tips on creating the retirement of your dreams. Call Kevin Frisbee today, 800-989-9100. That's 800-989-9100.
Down at the Capitol.
Howie says it all the time. When it comes to bad politicians, Massachusetts takes the cake.
It is my honor to introduce to you your senator, my senator, Senator Elizabeth Warren.
I know who I am because of what my mother and my father told me.
Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Governor Deval Patrick. And frankly, I got to tell you, with all the other things I'm worrying about, this is not one of them. We're going to be fine. I'm in charge. Please join me in welcoming our own Senator Ed Markey.
The planet is running a fever. There are no emergency rooms for planets.
The very first African-American congresswoman to be elected from Massachusetts, Ayanna Pressley.
We don't need any more brown faces that don't want to be a brown voice. We don't need black faces that don't want to be a black voice. We don't need Muslims that don't want to be a Muslim voice. We don't need queers that don't want to be a queer voice.
Let's give him a great Waterloo reception. John Kerry.
The Yankees posted the Boston Red Sox logo and they sang Sweet Adeline.
You've been hearing me talk about Super Beets for a while now, and I'm sure some of you are still thinking, why Super Beets? You could take it from me. The benefits of Super Beets are incredible. I take them twice a day, once in the morning when I get up, even before I have my first cup of coffee, and the other time in the afternoon, right before the show. It gives me a burst of energy. It's great for my blood pressure. It's good for circulation. It just makes you feel better. If that doesn't convince you, we can talk about the science behind Super Beets. Beets have nitrates. Nitrates support better blood flow, and better blood flow equals better energy and efficiency throughout the body, and even supports healthy blood pressure. But Super Beets does so much more than eating regular beets and is unparalleled compared to other beet powders. Just one scoop of Super Beets has the nitric oxide equivalent of 3 whole beets. Go to superbeetsradio.com/Howie and try out Super Beets yourself. www.superbeetsradio.com/Howie. www.superbeetsradio.com/Howie.
Normally we give Fredo Cuomo a
So we're going to
lot
have
of
Kevin
attention,
Frisbee
but lately it's
at
Governor
3:50,
Andrew Cuomo,
right?
who's been grabbing headlines. Let's take a listen to
Yeah,
some of
we've got
his
Andy Biggs
best
here, so we'll
moments.
break a little early.
Oh, we got Andy Biggs?
Take the job as an essential
Oh,
worker.
okay. I thought we had Andy Biggs at 4:30.
People hired.
No, we
You
got
can take the
Blackburn
job
at
as an
4:30.
essential worker.
Oh, Blackburn's now at 4:30? I thought Blackburn was 6:05.
The number is
Oh,
down.
I'm sorry, you're right.
Because
So when is Biggs on?
we're not going to make America great again. It was never that great. Because I can also see you're in masterful shape, buff even. It has a very nice
You can ask him how the
floral
insurrection is.
bouquet.
Excuse me?
I detected light.
You can ask him how the insurrection is.
No, that's my first question, obviously.
Tulips, yes.
So when are we going to do the poll question? We'll just break early, right? We'll break early.
And if they are the extreme conservatives, they have no place in the state of New
And
York.
we'll do it at the beginning.
Joe Biden accuses Trump of being a racist, but if you listen to Biden's comments, you would agree that he doth protest too much.
If you take a test where you're taking cocaine or not, what do you think, huh? Are you a junkie?
He's the first mainstream African American who is articulate and bright and clean. And Madam President, we have predators on our streets.
That kid wearing a hoodie may very well be the next poet laureate and not a gangbanger.
They are beyond the pale, many of those people.
God love you. You've been here all day. My Lord, you may feel like you're being incarcerated.
We have no choice but to take them out of society.
Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
I think the two-party system is good for the South and good for the Negro.
They're going to put you all back in chains.
Unlike the African American community, with notable exceptions, the Latino community is an incredibly diverse community with incredibly different attitudes about different things.
If you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump and you ain't black,
Live from the Matthews Brothers Studios.
Joining us now on the newsline is Representative Andy Biggs of Arizona, and he's taken time out from the insurrection that's going on Capitol Hill. There's no House session because Andy, I'm glad you're still alive. I assume you're talking to us from under a table somewhere, huddled in a corner as gunfire erupts around you.
I'm under the desk, Howie, and I've pulled the chair in.
Who were they kidding with this thing, Andy? I mean, come on. Come on.
It turns out, Howie, that is not the Republicans who believe QAnon. It's Speaker Pelosi that believes QAnon.
That's a good way to put it. It's another conspiracy theory, right? In the tradition of Russian collusion hoax.
Yeah, absolutely. The black helicopters are circling my house every night, or her house, or somebody's house. Who knows? This has really gotten out of hand, and I'm watching. We're just loaded with National Guards. There's hardly. I'm the only member I've seen today in the Capitol. I'm the only member I've seen in the Capitol today, and but boy, there sure are a lot of National Guards troops here.
Wow. Well, listen, before everybody went home to hide under their beds last night, they did something really terrible. And they voted 220 to 210 to basically federalize mail-in ballot fraud, as far as I can see. Am I overstating the case?
No, not at all. When you think about it. So they're going to send out mail-in ballots to every person. Not every citizen, every person's in any of their databases. That includes the federal prison database, the social welfare programs, those databases, your state's motor vehicle database. They're going to send out mail-in ballots to those people. They're all going to be registered. Those people are going to be registered, thrown into whatever registration database they're going to create. And then, of course, they're not going to demand voter identification. So yeah, I mean, don't be surprised if in a country of 330 million people, about 2/3 of those over voting age, don't be surprised if you have 550 ballots mailed out.
550 million. And did the 16-year-old vote? Was that defeated in the end or not?
It was defeated. So they register now, but they can't vote. But since they're registered voters and you don't have to show an ID.
Right.
Who's to say that they're not going to be voting?
So you can get a driver's license most states when you're 16. So since they're going to register people through the motor vehicle bureaus, registries, whatever you call them, they're going to be registered to vote, even though they're 16, right?
Oh yeah.
And California, right. I think, has something like 1 million illegal aliens with driver's licenses, so they're all going to be registered to vote.
Well, that's right. That's what this is all about, in part, because you're going to go right into that database of California or New York or any other place, Utah, some of these places that give driver's license to illegal aliens. And now those people will be automatically registered to vote.
So all
is that mind blowing or what?
So I know. So all these people that are coming across the border that we're seeing on TV, and we're reading about even in left-wing publications. They're illegal aliens. They come over here, no skills, no language. They don't have a husband with them, but they got kids. They test positive. They get put on a bus, sent to North Carolina or Maryland. They're going to now be registered to vote, right?
That's correct, sir. Well, yeah. Yes. I mean, because they're going to be in these databases that they're looking at.
How do we stop this? I mean, did a single Democrat vote against this?
No.
Not one.
So no, not one. So what's going to happen now is this is up to the Senate to stop. So here's what I'm hanging my hat on is the Senate's going to stop this. I mean, because right now the filibuster is still going to be in place, so you still got to get the 60 vote cloture to get there. So that won't happen in the Senate right now. Republicans aren't going to break ranks. Mitch McConnell's a hard no on this, and they're working this hard to make sure they don't lose any Republicans to vote yes. So that's our hope. The secondary hope is if heaven forbid they got rid of the filibuster or something like that, is we're going to have to rely on the states attorneys general to bring the lawsuits and litigate this thing to stop it, because this is it's a horrible bill. Somebody was telling me that the COVID bill, somebody who's been here for 35 years says the COVID bill is the worst bill that he's seen in 35 years. I said, well, have you seen H.R. 1?
I agree. I agree with you, Representative Biggs. As bad as that COVID bill is, I think this is worse. I mean, you can always recover from some giant boondoggle, but you can't recover if they destroy the franchise.
That's right. The most fundamental right that we recognize or that's necessary for a constitutional representative republic like ours is election integrity. You have to protect the institution of the election, and if you basically corrupt it the way this is, and that's what I said in the debate on the floor yesterday, is the Democrats are so enamored with power that they effectively are institutionalizing election corruption. That's what they're doing, and it makes it nobody will ever trust the elections anymore. And it makes it very difficult for people who are trying to run an honest election to ever win.
Isn't this like a card game when you're just trying to run everything, or a game of pool where you're trying to run everything? I mean, the Democrats know they're going to get wiped out. They almost got wiped out in the House in 2020. They're going to lose the House, but they're trying to shoot the moon, as we say in Hearts, aren't they?
Yeah. I mean, so you got. I mean, we could talk about every bill that they're trying, Howie. The next 2 weeks are going to be a mirror of the last 2 weeks, just horrible bill after horrible bill. And this is one of them. Someone actually told me that their theory is that the Democrats don't really want to get H.R. 1 passed because H.R. 1 basically makes the dark money thing transparent. And his theory was, well, the Democrats actually do better than us in dark money. And George Soros doesn't really want to list all those people that are participating in his dark money ventures all over the country, because he's everywhere.
Right.
And
all these DA races of those of us who live in big cities, we're seeing it in they're taking over these district attorneys' jobs, and with all due respect to congressmen, if you have a bad DA, he can do a lot more damage than a bad congressman.
Well, that's right, and the evidence is we got a whole bunch of bad congressmen. So one bad DA can really impact the lives locally.
Yeah, look at San Francisco, Philadelphia, Chicago.
Yeah, they just don't enforce the law.
LA.
The law. And that's so. There's a recall movement on the LA DA right now because of his leftist leanings. So you can really wreak havoc at the local officials level. And then, by the way, Howie, what you identified is exactly how Arizona is being turned blue. They didn't go after the governor's race necessarily. They had a terrible candidate for that, but they went after down ballot races where Republicans didn't really get in and vote on. That changes the whole nature of things.
What about it? What about this this education commissioner in Arizona? Now she's an elected woman, and we've just been reading these crazy stories. She says that a white baby is racist at the age of 3 months. I assume she's going to be knocked off in 2022, isn't she?
Well, I pray that she is, and if she keeps pushing this type of garbage, I wouldn't be surprised if a recall movement started against her. But I mean, that is the insanity and the tyranny of the left. It doesn't surprise me because I've actually heard this type of thing before. But a 3-month-old, think about that. It somehow is racist. They're just getting some vision. Then they have no idea. The discernment's not there. It is just stupid. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. It is dumb. It may be one of the dumbest things I've ever heard.
Is HR? Let me ask you this. We have to go, but is HR 1? If you had to predict now, is the Senate going to be able to stop this abomination?
I believe so. My prediction is yes.
Thank goodness. Oh. Yeah. This thing is so bad, and I know what they're doing to you guys. Are they dropping these illegals off in at your bus stations down on the border like they are in South Texas?
Yeah, so like Yuma, sure, yeah, Yuma, Nogales, Douglas, facing the same issues. Yeah,
it's really a mess. It's really a mess. Yeah, and if we could have just flipped around 50,000 votes, the Republicans would control the House, and it wouldn't matter who the president was, right?
Right. No, I think 75,000 would have given us control of the Senate and the House.
Wow.
So
that is just, oh man, for a horse, my kingdom for a horse, is Richard III said, right? And Andy Biggs, it's always a pleasure to see you, and I'm glad you've survived. And get your flak jacket back on, and your goggles and your gas mask.
Back under the desk, my friend. Back under the desk.
Thank you. That's Representative Andy Biggs he survived so far the QAnon riots. Eden Pure's famous BOGO offer is back for this week only. For the first time in history, they are offering the Gen 40 heater BOGO, buy one, get one free, just to our listeners. This is a $300 savings, $300. That's right. It's buy one, get one free. Considering how cold it's been at night in New England, you're going to want to take advantage of this offer right now. It doesn't get any better than this. The offer is available for just this week, so don't delay. This is an incredible savings. Gas and oil prices have already skyrocketed. Robert from the Cape says the Gen 40 heater performs like no other heater I've ever used. It is remarkable. The Eden Pure Gen 40 makes you feel warmer than your furnace, and it also costs less to run. You may be working more from home now and may have noticed the increase in your heating bills. The Eden Pure Gen 40 will pay for itself in a matter of weeks, but with this deal, more like days. Go to EdenPure.com and put in code word Howie BOGO. That's EdenPure.com and use code word Howie BOGO. This is a 1 week only sale, so act right now. It's going to end at the end of the week. EdenPure.com. Don't forget code word Howie BOGO. Save $300. I'm Howie Carr.
The Howie Carr Show.
Joe Biden accuses Trump of being a racist, but if you listen to Biden's comments, you would agree that he doth protest too much.
Did you take a test where you're taking cocaine or not? What do you think, huh? Are you a junkie?
The first mainstream African American who is articulate and bright and clean. Madam President, we have predators on our streets.
That kid wearing a hoodie may very well be the next poet laureate and not a gangbanger.
They are beyond the pale, many of those people.
God love you. You've been here all day. My Lord, you may feel like you're being incarcerated.
We have no choice but to take them out of society.
Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
I think the two-party system is good for the South and good for the Negro.
They're going to put you all back in chains.
Unlike the African American community, with notable exceptions, the Latino community is an incredibly diverse community, with incredibly different attitudes about different things.
If you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
Everyone knows I love coffee, and I'm not giving it up. I know that it would keep me up from time to time, but no longer with Balance 7. Balance 7 is a clear mineral liquid that you take 3 times a day to break down the acid in your body. When it does this, you'll feel better, and me, I sleep better. Often I'm asked to try products and I can be very skeptical on their claims. But with Balance 7, it was all 100% true. With Balance 7, I didn't feel my energy starting to flag as the day wore on. Because by sleeping better at night, it also gave me mental clarity during the day. Balance 7 is a highly alkalizing concentrate. That means it reduces the acids that have built up in your body. Balance 7 is also known for reducing acid reflux and heartburn as it did for the mailroom manager. Balance 7 is made of safe, all-natural ingredients. If you suffer from heartburn, acid reflux, or sleep issues, you should give Balance 7 a try. Order the 8-ounce 12-pack supply at balance7.com. Put in code word Howie. You will save $10 and you'll also get free shipping. Balance7.com.
We are now effective today requiring all counties to close their indoor activities, their indoor operations in the following sectors: restaurants, wineries, tasting rooms. A few weeks ago, I was asked to go to a friend's 50th birthday. I made a bad mistake. Instead of sitting down, I should have stood up.
Stay at home as much as possible. Put those social gatherings on hold, including extra care for Thanksgiving.
Denver's mayor told you to stay home for Thanksgiving, then he got on a flight to go see family out of state.
Some people calling Supervisor Kuehl a hypocrite. Now, on November 24th, she voted to ban outdoor dining, and on the very same day, she was spotted eating out.
I take responsibility for trusting the word of the neighborhood salon that I've been to over the years. As it turns out, it was a setup. So I take responsibility for falling for a setup. This salon owes me an apology. What they do.
Either I'm dead right or I'm crazy. You wouldn't care to put that to a vote, would you, Senator?
The Howie Carr Show.
Today's poll question is brought to you by the Nauset Beach Inn. Open this winter for the first time in 63 years. Book an ocean view room with fireplace for only $100. And don't forget, school vacation weeks are coming right up. Book today at nausetbeachin.com, N-A-U-S-E-T, beachin.com, before they sell out. Jared, what's the poll question? What are the results thus far?
What's the best age to allow voting? 16, 18, 21, or 25?
I know a lot of people are going to say it should be higher than that, Howie, but I'm going to go with 25.
25 is polling at 25%. 21 is in the lead at 51%.
How many people are with Ayanna Presley for 16-year-olds?
2%. I'm assuming they got a hold of their parents' phone or something.
2%. Okay. Joining us now on the line is, as he does every Thursday at this time, is Kevin Frisby, the financial wizard of the Howie Carr Show. Kevin, thanks for being with us here. And it was another brutal day in a series of fairly brutal days on the stock exchange today. What the hell's going on?
Well, today, I don't think we are in correction mode. The technicals broke down a couple of days ago, and now the question is, how far down do we go? And Jerome Powell, the guy, come out today not giving support to the markets. Actually, the market dropped down to about 700 points, and basically the Fed come out and said they're not going to really do much different than they had planned. And the markets don't like that. The market likes the free money, and the markets like the Fed to buy the debt. And now for them to come out and say, hey, we're gonna stay the course. The market's looking for some help, and you know what? It's healthy sometimes to have these pullbacks. It's a small pullback so far. The market's going cycles. Everybody knows that. So all these people that thought that the tech stocks were going to lead the market into oblivion, we're daydreaming. It just doesn't always happen like that.
I know. I think the big thing, though, Kevin, is, people are seeing what's going on Capitol Hill, these crazy, crazy bills and these insane policies that are being promulgated by the Biden administration. And I think, aren't they starting to get a little skittish?
Well, that's always been an underlying, but the markets are smarter than politics a lot of times. Politics affects the markets, don't get me wrong. But at the end of the day, we're overdue, Howie. We've talked about this for months. We're overdue for a pullback. I would love to see a 20, 25% pullback in the market, because at the end of the day, that gives opportunity for people, investors, to jump back in and start putting some money to work that's been sitting on the side.
Yeah, I know. Some of my listeners, though, are getting close to retirement, or they were thinking that they had just about reached the point where they could retire, and now they're getting slammed again. So that's, I guess it just depends on how old you are.
That does, but that gets to working with somebody that's already taken some of that risk off the table. As I said, most of our clients are retirees or pre-retirees here, and we have already had these discussions saying, hey, you're going to retire soon. How much should we have in the market? How much should we have in a safer bucket? So I think a lot of our clients have positioned correctly. Some of these people that have come up to retirement and they have everything in the market, I'd be concerned too if I was them. They shouldn't have everything in the market if you're close to retirement. In our opinion, there's other things you can do. So, and to that point, some of the listeners, if they're listening today and they're close to retirement or thinking about retiring soon, and you're concerned about the market, maybe you do that X-ray that we offer every week. We're basically offering a free second opinion that we can take a peek at the risk and maybe make some recommendations on reallocating if need be.
So how do they get the X-ray of their portfolio, Kevin?
Yeah, they can reach out to us two ways. They can call us at the 800 number, which is 1-800-989-9100, 9100, or they can find us at frisbeebenefits.com, and that's Frisbee spelled Frisbie, benefits with an S. They can reach out to us there. They can schedule an appointment. We can do a conference call. We get advisors all over the place, but that's the whole thing that I've been saying for weeks and weeks. We're due for a correction. I think it's here now. Get a hold by doing that X-ray, get a hold on your risk, and then maybe make some adjustments before we go too far down.
Okay, so they can, and that's no obligation. If they call up and get the X-ray, there's no obligation. There's no charge.
No charge for that, no obligation. And I think people, I know I've talked to a lot of people that are your listeners that have called up, and they've been very pleased with some of the data that we've been able to present to them and give them, I guess, some direction to be able to make some changes.
What about inflation in the time we've got left? A lot of people, it's been so long since inflation has been a factor, but some of us remember back in the days of Jimmy Carter and even before that with Gerald Ford whip inflation now. I mean, with the gas prices and the fuel prices going up and energy independence is being thrown out the window, we're going to be at the mercy of the Middle East again. I mean, this really... And printing money around the clock, too, for these ridiculous boondoggle pork bills. I mean, isn't inflation really baked into this scenario going forward?
There's no doubt about it. Everything you just said is going to increase the inflationary cycle. In the short term, stocks don't like inflation. They certainly don't like stagflation if we don't have any growth and we have inflation. But if we can somehow get the economy growing, get businesses back open, and not have stagflation, inflation's not the end of the world. Actually, with inflation, stock prices go higher, real estate prices go higher, commodity prices go higher. At the end of the day, that doesn't bode well for the fixed income people.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was going to say. Pensions. Yeah.
Pensioners, those people get hurt the worst, the people that are already retired. But inflation is a good thing. And I think in some ways, and I think the politicians, by doing the spending, by trying to pump as much money in the market as they can, are trying to create the inflation. Their thought is they can inflate us out of the debt. It's a backwards way to think, but that's what the politicians think. If you ask any one of them, otherwise they wouldn't spend as much as they spend. They
tried that in Germany once, didn't they, in the early 1930s? Wheelbarrows. There was a run on wheelbarrows, right? Because that's what you needed to get a loaf of bread. They did that a few times in Germany in the 30s. Yeah, I know. So what's the number again, Kevin, if people want to get the X-ray from Kevin Frisbee's financial team? Yeah, it's 1-800-989-9100, Howie. Okay, and that's no obligations. Just call up, and they'll be glad to take a look at your portfolio and see where you belong in these tumultuous times. Thank you, Kevin. You got Howie. Bye-bye. I'm Howie Carr.
There are two things for which New England is known. Wicked awesome windows and doors, courtesy of Matthews Brothers, and the very patient Captain Dave Marciano, advocate for the ocean, displayer of tattoos, and all-around wicked awesome fisherman. And just like Matthews Brothers is a family business, so are the Marcianos. In fact, now that they've become America's favorite family, some people have started
Is Grace going to do
calling them
Grace's
the
news
Auntie
today?
Harriet of the fisheries. So in order to give our listeners an opportunity to spend some quality time with a genuine New England B-list celebrity, Matthews Brothers has given away 6 trips for 2 people to go fishing.
Yes, we're going
with
to do
this
that here.
legendary fishing
Oh, right
family.
now? Okay.
You have to play to win, so just go to our website for all the details.
How are the
No purchase
gift
is
certificates
necessary, and
going?
no salespeople will call you except good old Ralph from Bangalore about your car's warranty, but obviously we at Matthews Brothers have no control over that, or we wouldn't get them too.
They are
Remember,
sold
you
out.
can learn more about
Sold
our
out.
wicked
Okay,
awesome
good.
Maine-made windows and doors, but only at Better Lumber Yards and Window Professionals, or on the web at MatthewsBrothers.com. That's Matthews Brothers with 1 T, America's oldest window manufacturer. Tattoos option.
And now, a minute of wisdom from Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Millennials and people and Gen Z and all these folks that come after us are looking up, and we're like, the world is going to end in 12 years if we don't address climate change. And your biggest issue is how are we going to pay for it? And like, this is the war. This is our World War II.
I think that there's a lot of people more concerned about being precisely, factually, and semantically correct than about being morally right.
But being factually correct is important.
It's absolutely important.
And if we work our butts off to make sure that we take back all 3 chambers of Congress, all 3 chambers of government, the presidency, the Senate, and the House in 2020, we can't start working in 2020.
And now a namaste moment with Chris Cuomo.
Hope with me that today Dr. King's example inspires the many striving for better and enlightens the toxic few determined to be their worst.
You're gonna have a problem. What are you gonna do about it? I'll ruin your I'll throw you down these stairs like a punk.
We could not have a better reminder that you can't kill an idea with violence.
And I don't want some jackass, loser, fat tire biker to be able to pull over and get in my face and in my space.
And that violence can be used as a refuge for those coming from a place of animus and ignorance.
What's the best way to handle it? You just ignore it.
Naked choke?
Just ignore
Punch to the sternum. As Dr. King taught us, darkness can only be removed by the light of truth. And love is the ultimate form of truth.
You're listening to the Howie Carr Show.
Now's the perfect time to get a pair of premium wireless earbuds, and Raycon is the way to go. Raycon start at about half the price of other premium brands on the market, and they sound just as amazing. And Raycon's everyday E25 earbuds are their best model yet. You get 6 hours of playtime, seamless Bluetooth pairing, more bass, and a more compact design that gives you a comfortable, noise-isolating fit. Perfect for conference calls, video chats, or binging podcasts. Raycon was founded by Ray J, and celebrities like Cardi B and J.R. Smith have already given Raycons their seal of approval. I love my Raycons, and Grace loves hers, too.
Howie, I love my Raycons. Best birthday gift ever.
I listen to much better music than she does, though.
Hey, that's not true.
Now it's your turn to see what the hype is all about. Go to buyraycon.com/Howie. That's buyraycon.com/Howie. buyraycon.com/Howie.
Joe Biden accuses Trump of being a racist, but if you listen to Biden's comments, you would agree that he doth protest too much.
Did you take a test where you're taking cocaine or not? What do you think, huh? Are you a junkie?
The first mainstream African American who is articulate and bright and clean. Madam President, we have predators on our streets.
That kid wearing a hoodie may very well be the next poet laureate and not a gangbanger.
They are beyond the pale, many of those people.
God love you. You've been here all day. My Lord, you may feel like you're being incarcerated.
We have no choice but to take them out of society.
Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
I think the two-party system is good for the South and good for the Negro.
They're going to put you all back in chains.
Unlike the African American community, with notable exceptions, the Latino community is an incredibly diverse community
with incredibly different attitudes about different things. If you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
What impact do you think Russian interference had in the election?
I think it was one of the major contributors to the outcome.
Years from the 2016 election, and Hillary Clinton still can't accept the results. Take a listen.
You know, you can run the best campaign. You can be the person who gets the nomination. You could lose. I believe he knows he's an illegitimate president. He knows.
The one thing that Trump is fearful of when it comes to his being president is that finally we will see how illegitimate his victory actually was.
This wasn't on the level. Flashing videos that appear and then disappear, and they're on the dark web and nobody can find them. It's like applying for a job and getting 66 million letters of recommendation and losing to a corrupt human tornado. So maybe there does need to be a rematch. I mean, obviously, I can beat him again. So, of course, he's obsessed with me.
You're listening to the Howie Carr Show.
Here's 1 minute of President Eric Swalwell.
Chris, so far, the evidence is uncontradicted that the president used taxpayer dollars to ask the Ukrainians to help him cheat an election. But I will always be real with you. I will be bold without the bull. Welcome to my fellow candidates, whom I consider we are all a part of being the Avengers. The Republicans in 2016, that was the Hunger Games. And, you know, it's said often that history doesn't repeat itself, it rhymes. And we heard a lot of rhymes yesterday. My wife, Brittany, also wants you to know we've got two beautiful children, Nelson and Cricket. But the decision to have children was her choice. I'm the only candidate calling for a ban and buyback on every single assault weapon. Again, we have to have an ankle monitor on this president. This is the worst possible time for a serial offender like him to be running around unsupervised.
Hair loss is not one of life's more enjoyable experiences. If you're looking to fill in your hairline or reverse years of hair loss, DiStefano Hair Restoration will create a result that will be a transformative experience. The result of my IGT procedure was quite remarkable. I now have fuller, thicker hair, so I can even wear it a bit longer. There are a few major decisions I've made in my life that I wish I did sooner. My hair restoration is number one. It was by far one of the best moves I've ever made. My hair looks awesome, and the confidence from having a full head of hair again has left me feeling great. I used to look in the mirror and dreaded seeing my ever-increasing bald spot. Now when I look in the mirror, I see the new me with a full head of thick hair. For information on how to make the same choice I did, go to hairman.com/Howie. What are you waiting for? More hair to fall out? Get the hair you've always wanted. Hairman.com/Howie.
He's the gaffe that keeps on giving. Here's 1 minute of former Vice President Joe Biden.
You teachers who touch them, figuratively speaking, well, I hope you touch them and tell them how much you love them too. But my point is, when you touch their hearts.
I get in trouble with some things I say, but I want to tell you, just be straight up. If I'm your president, me, it starts here in my gut, goes to my heart, and then I articulate it.
And by the way, you know, I sit on the stand and it get hot. I got hairy legs that turn blonde in the sun. And the kids used to come up and reach in the pool.
Better strap yourself in. It's time for the Howie Carr Show.
The last thing we need is Neanderthal thinking that in the meantime everything's fine. Take off your mask. Forget it.
Today I feel the same way as I did the day that Hillary Clinton called all of us in Middle America deplorables.
You could put half of Trump supporters into what I call the basket of deplorables.
Oh, not this again. When President Biden said that we were all Neanderthals, it struck me as someone who needs to get outside of Washington, D.C. and actually travel to Middle America.
Get up and get out of this basement.
Live from the Matthews Brothers Studio.
This feels dreadful. The only way I know how to improve it is with a shredder.
Do I get the confetti?
Please welcome Rip Taylor.
Rump swabs, hacks, and moonbats beware. It's Howie Carr.
844-500-4242, 844-500-4242. I hope Representative Andy Biggs from Arizona is right, and the Senate is able to kill this abomination known as H1 that's going to allow the Democrats to steal more elections. I mean, even before this bill is passed, I'm looking at the headlines during the break. 2 Paterson, New Jersey, city council Democrats indicted on voter fraud charges after using mail-in ballots to steal election. One of them, in fact, is named Michael Jackson. I didn't know he was running for office in New Jersey. I didn't know he was running anywhere.
And he was voting Democrat.
Well, we know he's still voting Democrat. Of course he is.
Come on.
Here's another one. Arrest made in Mississippi after 78% of mail-in ballots proved to be fraudulent in Democrat primary. Only 78%? Huh. That's something. Meanwhile, Republican corruption. Remember Elaine Chao? She's the one who quit as transportation secretary.
This is an interesting story.
After
Howie.
the first riots. And of course, she's married to one of Donald Trump's favorite Republicans. He was ripping him again today in the Wall Street Journal. Mitch McConnell, Cocaine Mitch, the turtle. The Transportation Department's Inspector General made public yesterday a report that cites repeated examples of former Secretary of Transportation Elaine Chao allegedly using her staff and office to help benefit her family and other business operations, and revealed staff members at the agency had raised ethics concerns. And she had directed her staff allegedly to spend federal government time and resources to help with matters related to a family shipping concern. This is her father in Asia. They're multimillionaires, and now the mainstream media, though, Grace, seems to be giving this story a good leaving alone.
Yeah, there's a few elements to this story. I think her dad at some point, Howie, was promoting a book, and there's stuff about that in there. And there's also that she was telling her staff to send out ornaments to her family, ship those out. So there's a few different little nuggets in that story that people should check out. But like you said, nobody cares because Mitch has that strange new respect now.
As long as he kills HR1, I don't care. He can do what he wants. That's the biggest threat facing us at this particular moment. I'm sure there'll be other ones coming. I
absolutely agree. I mean, the automatic registration, lowering the voting age. There's so many elements to this bill that are just terrible. And I can't believe. I mean, part of me can't believe they're trying to do it. But then, like you said, Howie, I agree with what you said to Representative Andy Biggs that they're just trying to get it all in because they know that come 2022. People are starting to figure out that they're full of crap. Even some loony lefties are figuring out that, they're not keeping up their end of the bargain.
How can you be happy, even if you're a loony lefty, when you go to the gas station and it costs you twice as much to fill up after 6-7 weeks?
Oh, it's so bad. I used to be able to basically fill up my entire tank for like $20. Now it gets me like half a tank. It
was so predictable. We predicted it over and over again. Anyway,
what can I say? It's like I have a crystal ball, Howie. You didn't have to be what's that Johnny Carson
Nostradamus, okay. Or Karnak the Magnificent.
Yeah, you didn't have to be Karnak the Magnificent to figure this out. I think a lot of people saw this coming. But Howie, now it is time for Grace's news. So the reporters. And I know you'll appreciate this, Howie. The reporters at the White House press conferences are so bad. Besides one horse pony Neanderthal soldier, Peter Doocy, they are all terrible. And the stuff they asked Jen Psaki, I mean, it really makes me scratch my head because I'm just like, this is the questions you come up with. First of all, one guy, I don't know if we have this sound, Jared. One guy was saying that Joe Biden needs to ratchet up the rhetoric and really shame people into wearing masks.
I heard him on your show. This guy sounds like the Playboy quote unquote reporter.
No, it's not Brian
It's a
Cameron.
Different guy.
And the reason I say that it's not Brian Cameron is this guy has blonde hair like you, Howie. So I knew it wasn't Brian. Plus, I don't know if Brian's allowed in there anymore. I know he was. I don't know if he has press credentials.
Just because the magazine doesn't or the newspaper doesn't exist anymore, that's no reason to bar anyone from being there as long as they're sufficiently left wing and lunatic. Right?
Yeah, he probably is still in there, but he just doesn't ask as many questions. I don't know. I'll look into that. But then there was another reporter, Howie, who asked whether or not they thought it was setting a good tone for Joe Biden to be traveling back and forth to Delaware for his weekend trips. So the questions, like, no one says, hey, when are you guys going to open up schools? The questions are like, do you think this is the right signal or message to be sending out? But let's listen to the first one, the white-haired guy first. I'm sorry, the blonde-haired man.
Why doesn't the president consider ratcheting up his rhetoric beyond Neanderthal and personalizing his concern? Why doesn't he think about saying, folks, here's the deal. If you don't wear your mask, people are going to die because of you. That would certainly get people's attention.
Well noted. I will say the president has been clear that if people wear masks for 100 days, 60,000 lives could be saved.
They don't think they're being harsh enough with the mask talk.
So are we going to have, Jen, are we going to have a 1-year anniversary of the 15 days to flatten the curve when it appears? Is there going to be a party like cakes and, streamers and party hats, gala champagne toasts, that kind of stuff?
Well, a historic day, you might say.
Right, exactly.
Joe Biden can take his mask off for a few minutes. But Howie, I do want to say, did you notice yesterday, I'm bouncing all around here, but there's so much news. Did you notice yesterday when Cuomo gave that non-apology apology that he mentioned that he kisses people and that that's like his greeting or whatever he said? I'm very touchy-feely. I'm paraphrasing, but it was something like that. But did you notice he said just a few days ago, I was hugging, he mentioned that he was hugging like clergymen or something?
Mm-hmm. He said a lot of stuff.
But Howie, aren't we supposed to be socially distancing? Forget the sexual harassment element of it. I thought we weren't even supposed to be within 6 feet of each other. He said a few days ago, I hugged somebody.
Well, how about the fact that he, and we went over this last night on my show later on. How about the fact that he grovelingly apologized for his actions and then said, I didn't do anything wrong. So why did he have to say, he said he was sorry 3 times in a row. Why did he have to say that over and over again, Grace, if he didn't do anything wrong?
Right. But Howie, listen to this cut. I want to get your take on it. Go ahead, Jared.
I kissed and hugged legislators. I was at an event in Queens the other day, hugged the pastors and the assembly members who were there.
Did he hug Ron Kim? He's from Queens. I don't think he hugged Ron Kim.
No, maybe he called him up after, though. He likes those late night phone calls, apparently.
No, the weekend phone calls too, Grace. I like that too. That the Inspector General's report came out from the year 2000, and he was making nasty weekend calls to the Inspector General of the Department of Housing and Urban Development, which it's exactly the same MO as with Ron Kim all these years later.
Wild. Hey, Howie, by the way, can I sneak in? Because it's Thursday and hopefully you're feeling generous, could I sneak in a quick royal story? Really quick. It's kind of funny. So there's all this drama with Harry and Meghan. They're doing the Oprah interview and, there's rumors that she bullied someone, yada, yada. Nobody cares about that. But there is kind of a crazy story because a small business owner in the Philippines has found himself in a nasty copyright battle with Prince Harry and Meghan Markle over the name of his deodorant brand, Archwell Harvard Rada. He has Archwell and they have Archwell and they're kind of trying to get him to give up the name. But Howie, I just wanted to tell you this because listen to the quote from this guy. He says, "You bet I can slug it out with them when it comes to legality, which I will. I expect Meghan to take me head on. All I can say is, bring it on. I'll fight you. You'll see. We both have active trademarks, so it's a showdown, and I'm not backing out if that's how they handle things. It's a duel till death. I will never give up." It's a deodorant brand. I love it. I love the passion.
How about that tribe down in the South Pacific that worships Prince Philip as a god? Did you see that story?
Oh, really?
Yeah. They're very concerned.
Not doing too well.
Because he's having these serious operations and he's about close to 100 years old. So they're very concerned about the mortality of the god that they worship. Prince Philip.
He had a successful heart surgery, but I did read that. I mean, he's been on and off for a couple weeks now. Howie, by the way, before I go, I have to let you know, Grace's News is brought to you by Toyota of Portsmouth, the house of value. I love my new RAV4 XLE. It's a great time to check them out. I'll be heading down there soon because I have to get my yearly checkup on my car. And if you guys are looking to lease or buy whatever it is, it's a great place to go. They're super nice. They'll help you figure out exactly what works for you. But also, I say this all the time, most of their cars that you want to check out are inside their beautiful showroom, so you don't have to stand outside in the freezing cold. That's a huge bonus. They're located just south of the Portsmouth traffic circle off 95. Go to toyotaportsmouth.com or visit them at the showroom and tell them I sent you. Speaking of cars, though, shifting gears here, Howie, last story, but I do have to get it in. Oh, I didn't even. I'm so good. Jeep boss says he's willing to ditch Cherokee name. Did you see this?
Yes, I did.
I just wanted to know how
they're going to change it to the
this.
Jeep Chippewa.
The boss of Jeep's parent company says he's willing to stop slapping the Cherokee name on the automaker's SUVs. Howie, I just have to say, don't you think maybe they'd be focused on getting a better spokesperson than Bruce Springsteen? Or maybe just taking a break from the virtue signaling for like a week?
Bruce Springsteen doesn't have time to do any more Jeep ads. He's become the spokesman for some leading tequila brand, I think, hasn't he?
Oh, I get you.
Between red and blue.
Red, blue, and black. I mean, Johnny Walker black, Johnny Walker red, Johnny Walker blue.
All right, Howie, that's it for Grace's News. I'll be listening to the rest of the show.
Okay, Grace, by the way, someone says in New Jersey, if they charge Michael Jackson, I bet he beats it.
Ha, 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 ha.
We'll see. I've been on balance 7 for more than 3 weeks now, and I can't believe my energy. I've been feeling so good that some days on the weekends, I go for 3 bike rides. Now you ask, what is balance 7? Balance 7 is a clear mineral liquid you take 3 times a day to break down the acid in your body. You feel better, and I personally sleep better. It also reduces acid reflux and heartburn. Often I'm asked to try products and can be very skeptical of the claims, but with Balance 7, it was all 100% true. With Balance 7, I don't feel my energy starting to flag as the day wears on. By allowing me to sleep better at night, I have more mental clarity during the day. Balance 7 is a highly alkalizing concentrate. That means it reduces the acids that have built up in your body over time. All you have to do is drink a small shot of the liquid 3 times a day, and you will feel the difference. Balance 7 is made of safe, all-natural ingredients. If you suffer from heartburn, acid reflux, or sleep issues, give Balance 7 a try. Balance 7 is made in America and is sold over 6 million units worldwide. Order any of the 1-month supply and put in code word Howie. You'll save $10 and get free shipping. That's Balance 7, the number 7, balance7.com. Code word Howie. I'm Howie Carr.
You're listening to the Howie Carr Show.
Cory Booker said it best.
There are definitely moments where you listen to Joe Biden and you just wonder.
Here's stumbling and mumbling Joe Biden.
David Duke, the former leader of the KKK.
The Ku Klux Klan is the Ku Klux Klan.
8 more years of Donald Trump will change America in a fundamental way. If Donald Trump is reelected, Freudian slip, and the demagogues around the world.
We also have a mechanism to control drug prices. Folks at the folks at Health and the Health Department in the United States, HHS.
It would put 720 million women back in the workforce.
I never ever thought that I'd see what I saw in Charlotte.
Would you or would you not rejoin the TPP, yes or no?
I would not rejoin the TTP.
Well, they're going out and getting G5 and going to dominate. I mean, what are we doing?
Bills that the future president here, that the senator is talking about.
You've been hearing me talk about Super Beets for a while now, and I'm sure some of you are still thinking, why Super Beets? You could take it from me. The benefits of Super Beets are incredible. I take them twice a day, once in the morning when I get up, even before I have my first cup of coffee, and the other time in the afternoon, right before the show. It gives me a burst of energy. It's great for my blood pressure. It's good for circulation. It just makes you feel better. If that doesn't convince you, we can talk about the science behind Super Beets. Beets have nitrates. Nitrates support better blood flow, and better blood flow equals better energy and efficiency throughout the body, and even supports healthy blood pressure. But Super Beets does so much more than eating regular beets and is unparalleled compared to other beet powders. Just one scoop of Super Beets has the nitric oxide equivalent of 3 whole beets. Go to superbeetsradio.com/Howie and try out Super Beets yourself. www.superbeetsradio.com/Howie. www.superbeetsradio.com/Howie.
Watch out, Joe Biden. You might have to share some of the spotlight because your running mate, Senator Kamala Harris, is certainly grabbing some attention for her own gaffes.
She was part of our culture. Yes, we wear those notorious B.I.G. t-shirts with a lot of pride.
Best rapper alive, Tupac.
You say he lives on.
Not a lie. I know. I keep doing that.
A Harris administration together with Joe Biden as the president of the United States, the Biden-Harris administration. We have got to, in America, reimagine how we are accomplishing public safety. And let's be clear, there is no vaccine for racism.
Let's just say there's a vaccine that is approved and even distributed before the election. Would you get it?
Well, I think that's going to be an issue for all of us. I will say that I would not trust Donald Trump.
He's not here to make nice.
Enemy to those who make him an enemy. Friend to those who have no friend.
The Howie Carr Show.
844-500-4242. That is the toll-free number of the Howie Carr Show. Today's poll question is brought to you by the Nauset Beach Inn, open this winter for the first time in 63 years. Book an ocean view room with fireplace for only $100. And don't forget school vacation weeks. Book today at nausetbeachinn.com before they sell out. nausetbeachinn.com. Jared, what's the poll question? What are the results thus far?
What's the best age to allow voting? 16, 18, 21, or 25?
I'm going to say 25.
Still holding 25 at 25%. 21 is in the lead at 53%.
All right. No one wants to lower the age to, or what is it, to lower the age to 16, which is what Ayanna Pressley suggested.
1%.
It's down to 1%. We should play the cut from Ayanna Pressley. This is the congresswoman, former city councilor from Boston. And this was what she was saying about allowing 16-year-olds to vote. She's the one who put in this amendment to the bill, which failed. A majority of the Democrats voted for it, though, to give you some idea where they're coming from these days. Cut 13.
Some have questioned the maturity of our youth. I don't. 16 and 17-year-olds today possess wisdom and maturity defined by today's challenges, hardships, and opportunities. They deserve and demand a government that is accountable to them. A government that values their voices and understands the depth and breadth of their lived experience.
Yawn. Who is she kidding? 844-500-4242. We're going to take a lot of calls here in this next segment, but I want to tell you, you want some, you want today's virtue signaling? Seattle is thinking about doing away with its bike helmet laws. Do you know why? Not because there's been some survey saying they don't do any good if you fall off a bike. No, they're racist. There's a story. Yes, there's a story in the Seattle Times about this. Seattle activists claim bicycle helmet laws are racist. Council may repeal. They've done a study. A BLM supporter has done a study. And he says that they're being used to oppress Black and Native American bike riders, not Asians and not whites.
I want to ride my bicycle, bicycle, bicycle.
Here are some of the damning statistics. White people in Seattle, according to the survey, represented 76% of the bicyclists. 76%. and they only got 73% of the tickets. Case closed. Your Honor, the prosecution moves for a directed verdict of guilty here. All right. A chorus of individuals and organizations is demanding that the bicycle helmet mandate be repealed. And by the way, the Asians get tickets at the rate 1/10 of what white people do. So if the cops are going after people of color, why are they giving Asians fewer tickets than white people? None of this is addressed in the monograph that was produced by the BLM supporter, who's a PhD student at the University of Washington. But they do have an interview with a bicyclist who claims that he was a victim of a racist, Edwin Lindo, who identifies as Central American indigenous from Nicaragua and El Salvador. He's from two countries. He went out for a bike ride with a black friend. On Mercer Island, a white man spit on Lindo, the Central American indigenous. The white man did not spit on the black bicyclist. So both Lindo and his black friend, the Seattle Times says, viewed the encounter as a racist attempt to exclude them from the biking community. I don't quite understand. First of all, was this white man who spit on them on Mercer Island identified? No, none of this was. This is just more nonsense from Seattle. Meanwhile, the feds in the Portland riots that have been going on since the summer, and they've destroyed the downtown area. They almost trashed the federal courthouse in downtown. The feds have dropped 1/3 of the charges against Antifa after promising that there would be severe consequences. Elections have consequences, or in the case of Portland, Oregon rioters, no consequences. I'm Howie Carr. Take advantage of an irresistible new offer from HelloFresh and hit refresh on your dinner routine. Get delicious recipes and fresh, pre-portioned ingredients sourced directly from growers, delivered to your door. With more than 25 weekly recipes, there's something for everyone to enjoy, including family-friendly, vegetarian, and low-calorie options. Say goodbye to never-ending meal planning and prepping, and hello to new 10 to 20-minute meals, low-prep recipes, and quick breakfasts and lunches. HelloFresh recipe cards are easy to follow with simple steps and pictures to help you get meals on the table in less than 30 minutes. Plus, you can skip the store and save up to 28% on groceries. HelloFresh isn't just delicious, it's a good deal too. Go to HelloFresh.com/Howie12 and use code Howie12 for 12 free meals, including free shipping, for a limited time only. That's HelloFresh.com/Howie12. Code Howie12 for 12 free meals. Code Howie12 at HelloFresh.com/Howie12.
200 moms, dads, sons, daughters, and grandparents who are no longer with us. I think it's up to 30,000 people have died. Over 600,000 dead, 600,000+ people.
60,000.
660. We're in the middle of a pandemic that had cost us more than 85,000 jobs, lives of millions of people. Now we have over 120 million dead from COVID. 200 million people have died. 205 million people, 1,000 people. 210,000 people have died. 4 million existing billion. 500,000. 50,000. A class of 25, you end up having two classes of 12, for example. But you know, in the 2020 census, which is now 2 censuses ago, the Oval back in May 9, 2019, a $15 million or $15,000 $15 minimum wage. I got to the Senate 180 years ago.
Everyone knows I love coffee and I'm not giving it up. I know that it would keep me up from time to time, but no longer with Balance 7. Balance 7 is a clear mineral liquid that you take 3 times a day to break down the acid in your body. When it does this, you'll feel better, and me, I sleep better. Often I'm asked to try products and I could be very skeptical on their claims. But with Balance 7, it was all 100% true. With Balance 7, I didn't feel my energy starting to flag as the day wore on. Because by sleeping better at night, it also gave me mental clarity during the day. Balance 7 is a highly alkalizing concentrate. That means it reduces the acids that have built up in your body. Balance 7 is also known for reducing acid reflux and heartburn as it did for the mailroom manager. Balance 7 is made of safe, all-natural ingredients. If you suffer from heartburn, acid reflux, or sleep issues, you should give Balance 7 a try. Order the 8-ounce 12-pack supply at balance7.com. Put in code word Howie. You will save $10 and you'll also get free shipping. Balance7.com.
What impact do you think Russian interference had in the election?
I think it was one of the major contributors to the outcome.
Years from the 2016 election, and Hillary Clinton still can't accept the results. Take a listen.
You know, you can run the best campaign. You can be the person who gets the nomination. You could lose. I believe he knows he's an illegitimate president. He knows.
The one thing that Trump is fearful of when it comes to his being president is that finally we will see how illegitimate his victory actually was.
This wasn't on the level. Flashing videos that appear and then disappear and they're on the dark web and nobody can find them. It's like applying for a job and getting 66 million letters of recommendation and losing to a corrupt human tornado. So maybe there does need to be a rematch. I mean, obviously, I can beat him again. So of course he's obsessed with me.
They're outlandish, they're outrageous, and they're hypocrites. They're the women of The View.
Bernie was so menschy in that moment, like a real guy. I actually am aroused by him.
Timothy McVeigh was a Christian. Just saying. Hitler was a Christian. Well, he didn't like the Catholics.
Trump needs to be medicated and hospitalized at this point, or he is going to just kill all of us.
I mean, do we have to wait till the hammer and sickle is on the American flag before we stand up to this guy?
Joy, you've worn blackface.
I did not go in blackface, please.
No, she was not in blackface.
Thank you.
It was a Halloween party. I went as a beautiful African woman.
You have tanning lotion on,
A little, I had makeup that was a little bit darker than my skin.
I'm hoping Dr. Jill becomes a Surgeon General. She's a hell of a doctor.
Whoopi, you said that Roman Polanski, it wasn't rape.
I know it wasn't rape.
Child molest, maybe? I'm not sure.
It was something. It was something else, but I don't believe it was.
Live from the Matthews Brothers Studios.
844-500-4242. 978 says, I guess my life is over, Howie. I finally heard it all. Bike helmets are racist. Yeah, that's today's story that you never thought you'd hear. Tomorrow there will be a new story. And we'll have 3 on Monday, from Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday too. There's always a new story about the political correctness. 844-500-4242. That is the toll-free number of the Howie Carr Show if you'd like to join us. Mary Louise, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Mary Louise.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Howie. I was reading the papers this morning, and I was particularly taken with the article on the restoration of the monument to the 54th Regiment. Neither of our 2 Boston newspapers mentioned the fact that had been out for restoration for some time and was newly destroyed or defaced this summer during the riots.
Right. This is the all black regiment that had a white commanding officer, and it's right at it's basically on the Common at the corner of Park Street and Beacon Street, right across the street from the State House. It's in a prominent place, and yeah, Mary Louise, they had to go out of their way to hurt that, didn't they? Because that wasn't in their line. That wasn't in their line of looting. Because there's really nowhere to loot in that neighborhood. They did go a block out of their way to destroy that, didn't they?
They did a number of other statues on the Commonwealth and on the Commonwealth Ave and the Common. However, neither newspaper saw fit to mention the fact that extra work had to be done to restore that monument due to the riots this summer in Boston.
You mean, excuse, I got to correct you, Mary Louise. You mean the peaceful protests, as the governor calls them.
Yes, the peaceful protest.
Yeah, they later on they had to go out and pick up the shell casings from the gun that was fired at the cops during the peaceful protests on Tremont Street, and many thousands of dollars in damage was done to the plate glass windows at retail outlets, at college buildings. There was massive looting going on from downtown Crossing all the way to Mass Ave on Newbury Street, which is like probably a mile away. And, but it was a peaceful protest, Mary Louise. Thanks for the call. 844-500-4242. By the way, I'll just tell you, we're getting word of another state trooper gone bad. We may not have it in the paper tomorrow, but we're working on it. We have his name, and he's already disappeared from the payroll. So stand by for another barrage. I don't know about this story that the Globe had today about supposedly the exam being compromised. Looks like that's kind of a thin story to me, but this one that we're working on is not thin. It's going to be another doozy. Rick, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Rick.
Yes, Howie. Greetings from Bangor, Maine, where it's a balmy 27 degrees. I just wanted to let your listeners know.
You need a Gen 40, Rick. You need the BOGO. Go ahead.
I'll settle for a wood splitter, but no, I wanted to let your listeners know that Kevin Frisbee is the real deal. I've been dealing with that outfit for about 6 months now, and I just can't say enough good about it. They're so easygoing. They do everything they can to help you. They go out of their way to make sure your debt is paid off. You know, they're not telling you to pine all that money away with them. They have a genuine interest in their clients, and they're just wonderful. I just want to share that with you.
Okay, well, that's great, Rick. I'm glad you said that. That's Kevin Frisbee, the financial wizard of the Howie Carr Show, and he was talking about these are strange times. We're in a correction mode in the market now, which was overdue, but you have to be kind of concerned because of the terrible policies that are being pushed by the Biden administration. And they're going to lead to energy problems, welfare problems, social problems with all the illegal aliens coming in, the energy dependence again. It's insane to want to have an energy to be dependent on Mideast oil yet again, and this whole thing about trying to destroy the entire electoral process to enable Democrats to commit even more massive voter fraud than they're committing now. John, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, John.
Howie, what's it going to take? Now they let all the immigrants in. They're letting them in. 35% of them got the COVID. So that's what they want to happen. They want those people down in Texas that took their masks off to look bad and to kill them all with letting them in. What's it going to take before the military or somebody steps in on the Biden administration and says, "Look, we've had enough"?
The military's not going to step in. It's going to have to be the voters in 2022. We just got to hope that we can stop this abomination of a mail-in ballot fraud operation from being implemented. We've got to just stop it. I mean, this really is insanity. I mean, let's play the cut from Governor Greg Abbott in Texas again. After Biden said we were Neanderthals, or the states that lifted the mask mandate were Neanderthals, and this is what Greg Abbott said, which summed it up perfectly in 28 seconds. Cut 3.
The Biden administration was releasing illegal immigrants into our communities who had COVID. The Biden administration was spreading COVID in South Texas yesterday because of their lack of constraint of testing and quarantining people who'd come across the border illegally. The Biden administration was exposing Texans to COVID. That is Neanderthal type approach to dealing with the COVID situation.
There are a lot of Democrats in South Texas. A lot of them are Hispanic. Henry Cuellar is a longtime congressman down there, a Democrat. And he said, this is insane what's being done. They're totally destabilizing the population. Even if they weren't COVID positive, hundreds of them already, it would be destabilizing the entire area. There were 108 have tested positive in this one town in the valley, the Rio Grande Valley, and they're putting them on buses. I mentioned it yesterday. NBC News interviewed a woman from Honduras, single mom, and a kid, a 3-year-old kid, no dad. Who knows where dad is? Who knows if she even knows who dad is? But she tests positive for COVID, and they put her on a bus for North Carolina. Now, yet if you go on the MBTA on the subway, there's a message every couple of minutes. Federal law requires everybody to wear a mask. So I'm sure if it requires everyone to wear a mask, I'm sure the federal law doesn't like you going on to the train with being COVID-19 positive. But an illegal alien that's going to be dependent on welfare, doesn't speak English, could just get on the bus and go wherever the hell she damn well pleases. Isn't that great? 844-500-4. And you know where the story ran? NBC. So how bad is it if NBC is covering it? Joe, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Joe.
Hey, Howie. How you doing? Thanks for taking my call.
Thank you.
Howie, I'm going to sound like a racist, but what's going on out in San Francisco is kind of a different topic. But these poor Asian people that get attacked on the street by these thug, cowardless people, and the majority of them that are attacking the
okay,
Asians.
yeah, we know. They had a demonstration in New York, in Lower Manhattan, and an Asian guy was attacked by somebody in Brooklyn, and they refused to file hate crime charges against him. And it's happened all over Oakland and San Francisco in the Bay Area. There have been attacks on Asian people, and they don't want to call it hate crimes. But so what is it? What is it? 844-500-4242. Brian, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Brian.
Hey, Howie. Hey, look, I just changed my address from New Hampshire to Florida. I probably did it at a good time considering the winters up there. But when I went to change the address, they moved me to like a third-party thing called My Move, and they wanted to send me a mail-in ballot. And I didn't. There's no way I could have opted out. I couldn't get out of there. I don't want to register with that. I just want to.
This is in New Hampshire. This is in New Hampshire.
Well, I called USPS. I don't know online. So I moved from New Hampshire down to Florida.
Yeah, but who's sending you the ballots? Who's sending you the ballots? Which state? Florida or New Hampshire?
The USPS.
I don't know. I don't know. He doesn't seem to understand my question. 844-500. The Postal Service is not. The Postal Service is delivering the ballots on behalf of somebody. I mean, this is the only person this is happening to. The mailroom manager and I, we're now legal residents of Florida, but we still have a place in Massachusetts. So we got several applications for mail-in ballots last year in Massachusetts, and so did our daughter, who now lives in New York. So we all could have voted multiple times, but we didn't do it. But I mean, if you start just mailing out ballots randomly to everybody in the country, you heard Andy Biggs in the last hour say you have 330 million people in the country. You could have 550 million ballots mailed out. And another thing in that bill is anybody can harvest as many ballots as they can bring in. There's no limit. Someone could show up at a precinct with an unlimited number of ballots and nobody could say anything. It's not a crime. It's insane. It's going to be like Venezuela or Cuba. The U.S. used to send these missions to these third world countries. Jimmy Carter headed a few of them to make sure that the election process was not filled with fraud. Now the Democrats are trying to change the election system in the United States to fill it with fraud. Because they know that if the American people of all races, colors, and creeds were given an opportunity to have a fair election, they would choose that. But the Democrats don't think they can win a fair election. So they want to set up this fraudulent system. and make it permanent and do away with any opposition. 844-500-4242. The Biden administration's policies and executive orders are already causing some economic disturbance. Tax laws are going to change. Your tax burden on selling real estate will grow. Don't get caught flat-footed and squander the equity in your real estate built up over years or decades. Sell today with J.J. Manning. For over 40 years, J.J. Manning has been the leading auction house in New England. From high-end homes to estates to commercial properties throughout New England, J.J. Manning can get your property sold fast and contingency-free. There is a big reason why Mass Lawyers Weekly voted J.J. Manning #1 for 4 consecutive years. Because they have a huge following of bidders who pay cash. When you sell with a broker, you pay the commission, but in an auction, the buyer pays. These are treacherous times in the real estate market. Some sectors are at all-time highs, like resort properties in Cape Cod and in Florida and on the Maine coast. But if you're in a retail or commercial, you have a problem in many parts of the country. Don't wait until Joe Biden destroys this sector of the economy as well as the other ones before you cash out. To learn more on how to get your property sold fast and for the most money, contact Charlie Gill at jjmanning.com. With more than 16,000 sales and satisfied clients, you can be the next one. Call them today at 1-800-521-0111 or go to jjmanning.com and get your property sold fast. I'm Howie Carr.
Howie will be right back after a quick trip to the Redemption Center.
This hour of the Howie Carr Show is brought to you today in part by Nauset Beach Inn. Open this winter for the first time in 63 years. Take advantage of their ocean view room rate while rooms are still available. Low price available only at nausetbeachinn.com. The Democrat Party is so full of loonies, social justice warriors, progressives, whatever you want to call them, that sometimes certain moonbats get overlooked. So let's take this moment to shine the woke spotlight on Crazy Maisie Hirono.
I am not going to be a fool to Mitch McConnell's shenanigans. Why should any of us? And it's not just a dog whistle, it's a bullhorn. Bullhorns. It's racism. It's basically, for many people, it's anti-Semitic. It's white supremacy.
Why not take a stand and vote yes for it? Seems like you're trying to have it both ways, not be hung by it politically, but also not say that you don't support it.
I disagree with you, Katie, that why should we engage in the kind of sham shenanigans that Mitch McConnell is really good at? I'm confused. This was just a sham.
Guess who's perpetuating all of these kinds of actions? It's the men in this country. And I just want to say to the men in this country, just shut up and step up.
I think the noose is closing, and, Giuliani is like a loose cannon, and so is the president, frankly.
Now's the perfect time to get a pair of premium wireless earbuds, and Raycon is the way to go. Raycon start at about half the price of other premium brands on the market, and they sound just as amazing. And Raycon's everyday E25 earbuds are their best model yet. You get 6 hours of playtime, seamless Bluetooth pairing, more bass, and a more compact design that gives you a comfortable, noise-isolating fit. Perfect for conference calls, video chat, or binging podcasts. Raycon was founded by Ray J, and celebrities like Cardi B and J.R. Smith have already given Raycons their seal of approval. I love my Raycons, and Grace loves hers too.
Howie, I love my Raycons. Best birthday gift ever.
I listen to much better music than she does, though.
Hey, that's not true.
Now it's your turn to see what the hype is all about. Go to buyraycon.com/Howie. That's buyraycon.com/Howie. buyraycon.com/Howie.
I want to be clear in how I characterize this. This is mostly a protest. It is not, generally speaking, unruly.
That ain't a riot, what we're seeing right now in Minneapolis. They are strictly principled anti-fascists.
No organization is perfect. There was some violence.
Any reasonable person would say we shouldn't be destroying other people's property, but these are not reasonable times.
I argue to you tonight, all punches are not equal morally.
But thank goodness for the looters, man.
And please, show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful.
Do not get it twisted and think that, this is something that has never happened before, and then this is so terrible, and where are we, and these savages and all of that. This is how this country was started.
People get mad, and people get sick of it. People are risking COVID to explain to this country that we're fed up.
Matt's going to grab that sound for you.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Badges? We ain't got no badges. We don't need no badges. I don't have to show you any stinking badges.
Howie Carr is back.
844-500-4242. That last caller, Brian, was talking about mymove.com. Here's a 603. They help move people, he says, about mymove.com. Tell you how to get licensed, etc. Not sure they're sending ballots. New Hampshire isn't doing it. Yeah, I didn't think so. I mean, if they just tell you how to change your registration, that's one thing. That's different from sending ballots. 844. In Massachusetts, they weren't sending ballots per se, at least not to me. They were sending applications to get a ballot. If I'd filled out the application, they would have sent me a ballot in the mail, and then I could have voted again. 844-500-4242. Erica, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Erica.
Hi, Howie. Thank you for taking my call. So I recently moved to Buxton, Maine, and when I changed my address with the post office, it did send me over to that mymove.com. But since then, they have been deluging me with information and trying to get me to, give them more information on what party I want to. What party I'm in, or what ballot, to mail an application to.
Yeah.
So I have been getting so much information from them, and it's just ridiculous. You cannot opt out of it. There's no way to escape it.
Ugh.
And it's something that the post office is just automatically sending you to.
I don't know about this. This is news to me. We'll have to check into this and see what's going on here. Thanks for the call, though, Erica. Sorry you're getting. It's a wise move to restrict the amount of information you're giving anybody in this internet age. And if people are especially if they tell you owe them money. I mean, we see the example of the Hampden County Retirement Board in Massachusetts, where they just kept getting these scam notices that they owed money, and they just kept paying them because they were just hacks, just lazy, worthless hacks. And they paid out $235,000 in scams to these people who were just soliciting on the internet. And we all get those kinds of things. You owe a bill, and you better get in touch with us and give us your date of birth, your social security number, and your credit card information, complete with expiration date and the security code. Just click delete on that. Karen, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Karen.
Hi, Howie. Thanks for taking my call.
Thank you.
I was just thinking, isn't this HR 1 bill the Democrats are pushing just them admitting to voter fraud in the last election?
Yeah. I mean, what else? How else can you describe it, Karen? And another part of it. I mean, the thing is 800 pages long. I mean, I don't think anybody has seen every bit of every landmine, every improvised explosive device that's in it. But one of the things is it makes it a lot harder to delete names that are obviously fraudulent. So for instance, you had that guy that was on the voter rolls in Michigan last November. He was born in 1820. So the Democrats want to make it so that you can't eliminate that guy because he's still got a right to vote. He's probably been dead for way over 100 years, but he should still be able to exercise his franchise. And another thing too, they have to let felons vote. So state law, many states still say you can't have felons voting. So what are these voting clerks and counties and towns and cities going to have to do? They're going to have to keep two lists so that the convicted rapist down the street is going to get the vote for president, but he can't vote for governor. I mean, how's that going to work? It's not going to work. They're just going to let the convicted rapist vote a straight Democrat ballot. It's just pure recipe for fraud. The Republicans in the Senate have got to stop this or it's over. Dennis, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Dennis.
Hey, Howie. Hey, I love your show. I'm an old Somerville guy here. I spoke to you once before. I lived down in Alamance County.
Yes,
We talked
Burlington.
about the Alamance Speedway.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I live in the peaceful village of Snow Camp, North Carolina. Out here in the country, there's nothing out there. But it seems like we've been living in the twilight zone, and we're starting to move into the Beverly Hillbillies, where we're going to have 30-year-olds going into the third grade because of the teachers.
I know. Do they ever think about what these kids are going through? Are these kids ever going to be the same after losing all this time out of school? Thanks for the call, Dennis. I'm Howie Carr. Eden Pure's famous BOGO offer is back for this week only. For the first time ever, they are offering the Gen 40 heater BOGO to just our listeners. This is a $300 savings. That's right. It is buy one, get one free. Considering how cold it is right now still in New England, you're going to want to take advantage of this offer. This offer is available for just this week, so don't delay. An incredible savings, $300. Gas and oil prices have already skyrocketed. Robert from the Cape says the Gen 40 heater performs like no other heater I've ever used. It is remarkable. The Eden Pure Gen 40 makes you feel warmer than your furnace, and it also costs less to run. You may be working more from home now and have noticed the increase in heating bills. The Eden Pure Gen 40 will pay for itself in a matter of weeks. With this deal, it'll be more like days. Go to EdenPure.com and put in code word HowieBOGO. That's EdenPure.com and use code word HowieBOGO. I've seen a lot of Anchor cupcakes in my day. Here are some of the latest network nitwits.
Danny says, if I'm elected president, I will push for a constitutional amendment to impose term limits on all members of Congress. Correct me, there already are term limits, so what does he mean?
And what are we hearing in the background? Is that shelling?
No, Katie, you're actually hearing that from here in Jerusalem, and it's actually fireworks going off right behind me.
We're in our tribes, we're in our corners most of our lives. I think we just heard some gunshots. Should we listen to that for a second, control room? So that's not gunshots? Okay.
Ivanka is not the second lady. She is actually, I don't think she deserves this position. She's actually a senior advisor to the president. So the idea that he would demean her specifically in that way, he shouldn't talk about the first lady that way. We aren't all here to make salads for men. It's disgusting.
I mean, I'm presuming he was talking about Karen Pence when he said second lady.
Oh, God, I'm sorry. Not Montana. I'm talking about never mind.
Yeah, no,
Ignore me.
That's
I was
good add to
I was getting Montana and North Dakota confused because, I don't know, I just was.
I know he always asks me tough questions, and he always has an edge to him, but I like him anyway.
Now that you're president and you're saying there's nothing we can do to change the trajectory of the pandemic in the next several months, what happened to 2 months ago when you were talking declaratively about I'm going to shut down the virus?
When President Trump was imposing travel restrictions in March, specifically on China, then candidate Biden called it xenophobic and fear-mongering. So now President Biden is putting travel restrictions on people coming in from other countries. What word do we use to describe that?
Well, I don't think that's quite a fair articulation.
Why weren't President Biden and all members of the Biden family masked at all times on federal lands last night if he signed an executive order that mandates masks on federal lands at all?
That he was celebrating an evening of a historic day.
You're listening to the Howie Carr Show.
Hair loss is not one of life's more enjoyable experiences. If you're looking to fill in your hairline or reverse years of hair loss, DiStefano Hair Restoration will create a result that will be a transformative experience. The result of my IGT procedure was quite remarkable. I now have fuller, thicker hair so I can even wear it a bit longer. There are a few major decisions I've made in my life that I wish I did sooner. My hair restoration is number one. It was by far one of the best moves I've ever made. My hair looks awesome, and the confidence from having a full head of hair again has left me feeling great. I used to look in the mirror and dreaded seeing my ever-increasing bald spot. Now when I look in the mirror, I see the new me with a full head of thick hair. For information on how to make the same choice I did, go to hairman.com/Howie. What are you waiting for? More hair to fall out? Get the hair you've always wanted. Hairman.com/Howie.
What does the mainstream media really think of you? Banjos, please.
Bigots and racists. Credulous, rude, tin-toothed,
Working class, angry, white.
Aging, angry white guys. Angry white man.
Angry white old men.
these angry white men. The angry white vote.
All these angry white people. Too many of them want to see the people who are begging for change put down.
Racist.
Racist, bigoted base.
It's white privilege, it's white nationalism, it's anger, it's rage, it's incel.
We tolerate a certain level of racism.
1 in 3 Americans are racist.
The credulous boomer Rube demo.
Y'all elitists are dumb.
You elitists with your geography and your maps and your spelling, even though my
your math and your reading.
Yeah, you're reading. They're too far gone.
Look at them. They're high-fiving each other, and they're going to go back, to the Olive Garden and to the Holiday Inn that they're staying at in the Garden Marriott, and they're going to have some drinks.
The Moonbats always say Donald Trump isn't very bright. But what about Barack Hussein Obama? Let's listen to some of his greatest hits.
I've now been in 57 states. I think 1 left to go. I don't know what the term is in Austrian.
The Cambridge police acted stupidly.
And there has never been any man or woman more qualified for this office than Hillary Clinton.
There are neighborhoods around the country where it is easier for a 12 or 13-year-old to purchase a gun and cheaper than it is for them to get a book. I believe in the Second Amendment. It's there written on the paper.
If we fall for, a bunch of okey doke.
A few months ago, when you were asked what's the biggest geopolitical threat facing America, you said Russia, not Al Qaeda. You said Russia. In the 1980s are now calling to ask for their foreign policy back.
You're listening to the Howie Carr Show.
Here's 1 minute with Governor
Charlie Parker in Massachusetts.
I'd certainly put myself on that list. I'm a basketball player. I always was. There's a lot at stake here. This is not a virus to be trifled with or disrespected. Respect the virus. I have a hard time understanding when we're going to be able to play basketball again. We can start talking about a gradual, careful, data-driven, phased reopening. Don't let a few nice days step on that. I need to talk to the Attorney General and find out what the actual parameters of the ruling are. Did this just happen? And the reason I read that story is because I'm a basketball player and I agree. I was first made aware of the discrepancy on this on the day that the registrar resigned. The vast majority, and I mean like the vast majority of the people who are part of these protests are there to make a point and to make it peacefully. That is so obvious, I'm amazed that anybody could say anything other than that. I would love to be able to open everything up tomorrow. That would be an incredibly irresponsible thing to do.
You've been hearing me talk about Super Beets for a while now, and I'm sure some of you are still thinking, why Super Beets? You could take it from me. The benefits of Super Beets are incredible. I take them twice a day, once in the morning when I get up, even before I have my first cup of coffee, and the other time in the afternoon, right before the show. It gives me a burst of energy. It's great for my blood pressure. It's good for circulation. It just makes you feel better. If that doesn't convince you, we can talk about the science behind Super Beets. Beets have nitrates. Nitrates support better blood flow, and better blood flow equals better energy and efficiency throughout the body, and even supports healthy blood pressure. But Super Beets does so much more than eating regular beets and is unparalleled compared to other beet powders. Just 1 scoop of Super Beets has the nitric oxide equivalent of 3 whole beets. Go to superbeetsradio.com/Howie and try out Super Beets yourself. www.superbeetsradio.com/Howie. www.superbeetsradio.com/Howie.
President Trump is clearly ethically unfit and intellectually unprepared to be president of the United States. And I support Chairwoman. In the coming weeks, the House will hold hearings. Congresswoman Harris, Senator Harris. He's our president, and I would rather he not be taking something that has not been approved, especially in his age group and in his, shall we say, weight group, what is morbidly obese, they say. So completely inappropriate in so many ways that it's almost a given. It's like a child who comes in with mud on.
better strap yourself in. It's time for the Howie Carr Show.
The last thing we need is Neanderthal thinking that in the meantime everything's fine, take off your mask, forget it.
Today I feel the same way as I did the day that Hillary Clinton called all of us in middle America deplorables.
You could put half of Trump supporters into what I call the basket of deplorables.
Oh, not this again. When President Biden said that we were all Neanderthals, it struck me as someone who needs to get outside of Washington, D.C. and actually travel to middle America.
Get up and get out of this basement.
Live from the Matthews Brothers Studio.
This feels dreadful. The only way I know how to improve it is with a shredder.
Do I get the confetti?
Please welcome Rip Taylor.
Rump swabs, hacks, and moonbats beware. It's Howie Carr.
844-500-4242. 844-500-4242. That is the toll-free number of the Howie Carr Show. We'll talk more about this H1 because people are just starting to wake up to it. We've been talking about it for a while, but there's so much crap going on. And, I think it's maybe not a total coincidence, but somehow it's related that they passed this abomination, this terrible thing to basically destroy fair and free elections in the United States. And then they run away and they claim they're under threat of this insurrection, this QAnon insurrection. They were predicting today there were going to be riots and an armed takeover of the Capitol, and I don't have to tell you that hasn't happened. And as Representative Andy Biggs said, it appears that the only people who believe the QAnon conspiracy theories are Nancy Pelosi and the House leadership. No one in the country believed it. Nobody in the Republican caucus believed it. Everybody knew that nothing was going to happen. And this all happens. The so-called insurrection today happens the day after the FBI admits no weapons were confiscated during the first insurrection, or as Chuck Schumer called it, the erection at the Capitol.
Donald John Trump incited the erection.
Yes. Yeah. A lot of Democrats in New York have had a problem inciting that very thing, and they've gotten into a lot of trouble, Chuck. You haven't gotten into that kind of trouble yet, or thus far that we know of. But the governor certainly isn't having a problem. Your former associate, Carlos Danger, the former attorney general of the state of New York, et cetera, et cetera. A lot of it going around. Time now for the chump line.
You don't work for 15 weeks, and what do you get? A weekly $1,400 check. I must be in heaven with all of this dough, and I owe it all to my Uncle Joe.
Yep. We'll talk with Senator Mark Blackburn about this in about an hour. This is one of the lesser-known provisions of the COVID Relief Act, the Federal Hack Relief Act. If you have a kid and you want to take time off because the kid is not in school or the kid is in virtual learning or for whatever reason, basically, you can have 15 weeks off between now and September 30th at $1,400 a week. Isn't that nice? And some people were saying yesterday, well, some of them make more than $1,400. They make $100,000. Well, but who's not taking 15 weeks off at $1,400? I think very few.
Now we can add Neanderthal to the list of names we've been called. For people who don't believe in bullying, they're sure good at it.
Apparently, there was a story in the New York Times about Neanderthals on Monday, and so the Democrats all being great New York Times readers, they were all thinking of Neanderthals, so they put that in their talking points, and everybody from the president on down had to call call us Neanderthals for wanting to reopen the country and get the kids back to school.
Read.
The Chump Line is brought to you by Matthews Brothers, America's oldest window manufacturer. This week, proud to announce the start of this year's wicked awesome contest to go fishing with a solid B-list celebrity, Captain Dave Marciano. You'll find all the important details on our website, MatthewsBrothers.com. Jared, can you give me the cut of the new Secretary of Homeland Security talking about the parents, loving parents, as he says, sending their kids up to across the Mexican desert to get raped and attacked because so that they can get into the United States and, live for free forever. Just, you don't have to do it right now, but just get it in the next segment or so.
No one's safe, not even Dr. Seuss, with the PC police on the loose. Now the cat got two in the hat. These people are out to cook everyone's goose.
Well, the cat hasn't gotten two in the hat yet, but you're right, the Limerick guy. It's only a matter of time till the cat gets two in the hat.
In my hand, I hold the last envelope. John Paul II, Irish Spring, Joe Biden. Name a pope, a soap, and a dope. Hey-o!
Once I heard Pope, I knew what the third one was going to be. It was going to be dope. And he is. You have Hunter Biden, the son, and Hunker Down Biden, the dad.
Gee, all these fact checkers are wonderful. Where were they during Obamacare?
Yeah, I know. There's a new word out now besides unexpectedly. The nation's unemployment rate remained stubbornly high. Stubbornly. That's a new one. We're going to see a lot more of that adverb as time goes on, in addition to, of course, unexpectedly poor performance in the stock market, unexpectedly high rate of inflation, unexpectedly large number of people applying for unemployment, unexpectedly large increase in the price of a gallon of gasoline.
This is Andrew Cuomo. I don't care how bad New Yorkers are struggling. I want to kiss you.
Yeah, he does want to kiss you if you're a good-looking young woman, old enough to be his daughter, or in some cases his granddaughter, I suppose.
I'm struggling.
He's struggling.
On behalf of my Neanderthal relatives and ancestors, I'm filing for reparations.
Remember those Geico ads? Didn't they were talking about the Neanderthal, and didn't the last ad in the series, the PR guy or the marketing guy for Geico had to take the Neanderthals out for lunch and apologize to them? When is Biden going to take some Neanderthals out to apologize?
Neanderthal thinking? Finally, Joe Biden addresses Andrew Cuomo's behavior.
508, proud to be a deplorable Neanderthal. I see a T-shirt in the future. I hadn't thought about that, but I think you're right. There could be a T-shirt in the future. Proud to be a deplorable is still our best-selling T-shirt ever.
Just give us 2 weeks, they said tongue-in-cheek, and then we'll all be fine. Of course they were lying. Now, you go and figure which liar was bigger, Biden the faker or our own Charlie Baker.
Biden has the excuse he didn't know what the hell he was saying. He doesn't remember anything. He doesn't remember what he said yesterday, let alone a year ago. Baker has no such excuse. So I'm going to vote for Baker in this case. But you're right. I mean, are we going to have some kind of, I think we need a big party. Maybe take over the whole garden.
Let's have a nice super spreader.
Yeah. A nice, a super spreader, kind of like what's going on down on the southern border of the United States. Is anyone calling that a super spreader, by the way? No. By the way, how many infections do we have from the Super Bowl? It's been long enough away. We should have a pretty good handle on how many infections there were from that super spreader. Oh, there weren't any? Huh. Go figure.
I'm Joe Biden, and I'll be happy to take your questions in writing. Submitted 2 weeks in advance to my press secretary.
Yeah, we should probably play that cut of Joe being cut off when he says he's going to take questions. It's not as good on radio as it is on TV when you have the video, but it's still kind of funny. He's taking, as soon as he says he's going to take questions, that's the end. They cut him right off. Cut one.
Thank you. And I'm happy to take questions if that's what I'm supposed to do, Nance, whatever you want me to do.
That's it. He's off. He's off the air. Technical difficulties, or should I say not technical difficulties.
Do Joe Biden's American Relief pans come with a free set of tapioca spoons?
I wish someone would ask him, as long as they're asking him these softball questions at the White House, and as long as, except for the one horse pony Peter Doocy, why don't they ask him, Mr. Biden, when you binge on the weekends in the basement in Delaware, what show do you watch? Which is it? Matlock? Is it Bonanza? Is it Hazel? I heard someone, Chris Plant, say today Hazel was one of his favorite shows. Remember that? Shirley Booth, Don DeFore, Billy Buntrock. I'll bet he did love Hazel. I'll bet he loves Hazel more now than he loved it then.
Howie, Charlie Baker calling. Lay off my friend Andrew Cuomo. He follows the metrics and the science religiously. He would have never touched that girl's face if she had just been wearing a mask. It's not like he roped her on an airplane or something.
When are they going to name the new U.S. attorney for the District of Massachusetts? The one reason I'm hoping Rachel Rollins gets the job, well, two. Number one, she wouldn't be the district attorney of Suffolk County any longer. But number two is, I think she'd like to go after Gropey Baker on that federal rap. I don't think the statute of limitations has expired on that. That would be the silver lining to having her in there. There'd be a lot less prosecution of most kinds of criminals, but maybe Gropey Baker would have to sweat it out a little bit.
That was your last chump line message. Thank you for calling Howie Carr, you chump.
That's it for the Chump Line today. The Chump Line is the recorded voicemail message service of the Howie Carr Show. You can call and leave a message anytime between the hours of 1 and 4 Eastern Time. Just call 844-500-4242, 844-500-4242. Press 2 for the Chump Line. Leave your message. We may or may not play it at this time each weekday. And if you can't get enough of the Chump Line voicemail messages tonight at 7, we will post another batch of them that didn't make the airwaves just now. Chopped chumps, we call it. And you can get them wherever you get your Howie Carr Show podcast, Chopped Chumps. The Chump Line is brought to you by Matthews Brothers, America's oldest window manufacturer. This week, proud to announce the start of this year's wicked awesome contest to go fishing with a solid B-list celebrity, Captain Dave Marciano. You'll find all the important details on our website, MatthewsBrothers.com. I'm Howie Carr.
You don't work for 15 weeks, and what do you get? A weekly $1,400 check. I must be in heaven with all of this dough, and I owe it all to my Uncle Joe.
Do, 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 do. I'm Howie Carr.
They call him the trash man, but we'll call him Captain Howie Carr.
Maria's finest Italian restaurant in Portland, Maine is worth the trip for their amazing meatballs. I'm talking about the best meatballs I've ever had. Outstanding. Maria's is owned and operated by the chef with many specialties, including homemade pasta and sauce. Known for their eggplant parmesan and seasonal favorites like their ricotta cavatelli, you won't leave hungry. They're located at 1335 Congress Street, Portland, Maine. Check out their extensive menu at mariasrestaurant.com. Visit today and be part of the family.
Howie, have you ever heard the expression, if there's a nip in the air, the Irish will drink it?
No, but that does sound reasonable considering my Irish heritage.
Well, Howie, I have a big announcement. After 100 years, McConnell's Irish whiskey is returning to the U.S. Having left because of Prohibition, McConnell's is making its comeback for a new generation of whiskey enthusiasts.
I'll drink to that.
McConnell's Irish whiskey is the comeback spirit. When you take your first sip, you'll know some things are just worth the wait. Sláinte.
I want to be clear in how I characterize this. This is mostly a protest. It is not, generally speaking, unruly.
That ain't a riot, what we're seeing right now in Minneapolis. They are strictly principled anti-fascists.
No organization is perfect. There was some violence.
Any reasonable person would say we shouldn't be destroying other people's property, but these are not reasonable times.
I argue to you tonight, all punches are not equal morally.
But thank goodness for the looters, man.
And please, show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful.
Do not get it twisted and think that, oh, this is something that has never happened before, and then this is so terrible, and where are we, and these savages and all of that. This is how this country was started.
People get mad, and people get sick of it. People are risking COVID to explain to this country that we're fed up.
Everyone knows I love coffee and I'm not giving it up. I know that it would keep me up from time to time, but no longer with Balance 7. Balance 7 is a clear mineral liquid that you take 3 times a day to break down the acid in your body. When it does this, you'll feel better, and I sleep better. Often I'm asked to try products and I could be very skeptical on their claims. But with Balance 7, it was all 100% true. With Balance 7, I didn't feel my energy starting to flag as the day wore on, because by sleeping better at night, it also gave me mental clarity during the day. Balance 7 is a highly alkalizing concentrate. That means it reduces the acids that have built up in your body. Balance 7 is also known for reducing acid reflux and heartburn, as it did for the mailroom manager. Balance 7 is made of safe, all-natural ingredients. If you suffer from heartburn, acid reflux, or sleep issues, you should give Balance 7 a try. Order the 8-ounce 12-pack supply at balance7.com. Put in code word Howie. You will save $10 and you'll also get free shipping. Balance7.com.
Joe Biden's plagiarizing prowess proves one thing: he's been stealing all his life.
Let us pledge that our generation of Americans will pay any price. We shall pay any price. Bear any burden. Bear any burden. Accept any challenge and meet any hardship. Meet any hardship. To secure the blessings of prosperity and the promise of opportunity for our children. To assure the survival and the success of liberty.
But this standard is not a measure of how we can evaluate the condition of our society. Cannot measure the health of our children.
Yet the gross national product does not allow for the health of our children.
The quality of our education.
The quality of their education.
The joy of their play.
For the joy of their play.
Come on, man.
We're not just gonna let you walk out of here. Who's we, sucker? Smith, and Wesson, and me.
The Howie Carr Show.
Now, Ayanna Pressley said last night on the floor of the House that 16-year-olds possess the maturity and the wisdom to vote in elections. Now, a texter points out that it seems like it was only yesterday that Obama was all in favor of putting 26-year-olds or up to 26-year-olds on parents' health care plans because they didn't have the wisdom and maturity to have their own health care plans. But now people 10 years younger have the wisdom and maturity to actually vote.
We have that Kamala cut.
And Kamala Harris is, she's like a weather vane. If you don't like her opinions, just a weather vane in a hurricane, just keeps flopping around, changing her positions from moment to moment. So now, of course, I'm sure she's all in favor. If she hasn't issued a statement, it's only because it's not necessary. Of course, she's in favor of letting 16 and 17-year-olds vote because this is now. But back last year, she had a different opinion then. Here it is.
What else do we know about this population, 18 through 24? They are stupid. That is why we put them in dormitories, and they have a resident assistant. They make really bad decisions.
I guess it was more than a year ago, because now we've decided that they're so incapable of taking care of themselves, we don't even send them to college anymore. And the resident assistants, they're all still being paid, of course, but they're just hanging out in their mom's basements too. So you heard her. She said that 18 to 24-year-olds are stupid. Stupid. Today's poll question is brought to you by the Nauset Beach Inn. Open this winter for the first time in 63 years. Book an ocean view room with fireplace for only $100. And don't forget school vacation weeks. Book today at nausetbeachinn.com before they sell out. nausetbeachinn.com. Jared, what's the poll question? What are the results thus far?
What's the best age to allow voting? 16, 18, 21, or 25?
I'm going to say 25 because I'm going to agree with Kamala Harris for once in my life and say that the 18 to 24-year-olds are stupid, by and large. Not everybody, but by and large. Yes.
28% say 25 is the age. 52% say 21 is the correct age. And 16 is still polling at 1%.
All right. 844-500-4242. Do we have the sound cut of, what's his name, Mayorkas, the new Health and Human Services Secretary, talking about the loving parents who send their kids through the desert? Now, what you have to remember about this one is, I mean, again, the Biden administration is everywhere on every issue, depending on who they're talking to. If you are a parent and you want to get your kid back to school, you're an evil person. You want to kill everybody, because you just have, all you want is your babysitters back, as some of these educators, quote unquote, called it. But if you want to send your 9-year-old kid across the desert to be raped and assaulted, listen to this.
We are not apprehending a 9-year-old child who's come alone, who's traversed Mexico, whose loving parents had sent that child alone. We're not expelling that 9-year-old child.
So if you're in Guatemala or Honduras and you send the 9-year-old kid up, God only knows what's going to happen to him on the way up to the land of milk and honey. You're a loving parent. If you want to send your kid back to the schools that your taxpayer dollars are paying for, you're a bastard. You're an ugly American, and don't you forget it. The Democrats hate you. I'm Howie Carr. If you're thinking about a new RV this year, I've got 2 words of advice for you. Buy early. This is Howie Carr. With the popularity of camping growing and manufacturers' constraints, the earlier you shop, the better. Our friends at Cold Springs RV are ready for you. They have an indoor heated showroom and heated units outside for winter browsing. They are also ready to sell your current RV on consignment. Learn more at coldspringsrv.com or visit Cold Springs RV in Ware, New Hampshire. Liberty Safe. If you're a gun owner, you know that name because they've worked so hard to earn the title of America's #1 safe. And the area's best Liberty Safe dealer is Dependable Lock in Nashua. They have Liberty Safes in stock now. Keep your guns and other valuables locked up in a Liberty Safe. See the experts at Dependable Lock to learn more and see the full collection. LibertySafeNewHampshire.com. LibertySafeNewHampshire.com.
Joe Biden's plagiarizing prowess proves one thing: he's been stealing all his life.
Let us pledge that our generation of Americans will pay any price. We shall pay any price. Bear any burden. Bear any burden. Accept any challenge and meet any hardship. Meet any hardship. To secure the blessings of prosperity and the promise of opportunity for our children. To assure the survival and the success of liberty.
But this standard is not a measure of how we can evaluate the condition of our society. It cannot measure the health of our children.
Yet the gross national product does not allow for the health of our children,
the quality of our education,
the quality of their education,
the joy of their play,
for the joy of their play.
Come on, man. Now's the perfect time to get a pair of premium wireless earbuds, and Raycon is the way to go. Raycon start at about half the price of other premium brands on the market, and they sound just as amazing. And Raycon's everyday E25 earbuds are their best model yet. You get 6 hours of playtime, seamless Bluetooth pairing, more bass, and a more compact design that gives you a comfortable, noise-isolating fit. Perfect for conference calls, video chats, or binging podcasts. Raycon was founded by Ray J, and celebrities like Cardi B and J.R. Smith have already given Raycons their seal of approval. I love my Raycons, and Grace loves hers, too.
Howie, I love my Raycons. Best birthday gift ever.
I listen to much better music than she does, though.
Hey, that's not true.
Now it's your turn to see what the hype is all about. Go to buyraycon.com/Howie. That's buyraycon.com/Howie. buyraycon.com/Howie.
He is the youngest senator that is going to be running. In his video, he also mentioned he's the only senator that lives in the inner city, and he's an unmarried vegan. So a lot of very unique qualities Cory Booker brings to the table, Kate.
Now, I appreciate the comments of my colleagues. This is about the closest I'll probably ever have in my life to an I am Spartacus moment. I am Spartacus. I am Spartacus.
Joey, you like movies about gladiators?
Have you ever had an LGBTQ law clerk?
I've not been a judge, so I don't have any law clerks.
Someone working for you.
I'm to be honest, I don't know the sexual orientation of my staff.
When Dick Durbin called me, I had tears of rage when I heard about this experience in that meeting. And for you not to feel that hurt, tears of rage.
Would you just stop being so dramatic?
I'm a big believer that if this country hasn't broken your heart, then you don't love her enough.
I just sent
Here
you a
are
story
some rapid fire questions with Taylor Cormier. What would you eat for your last meal on Earth?
I'm fond of old favorites, childhood favorites. I'd go with my mother's beef and bean pie, followed by, for dessert, my grandmother's recipe for oatmeal cookies and a big glass of milk.
Where is your favorite place to vacation?
Home. I like being home. I like my house. I know where everything is. Yeah, I just like being home.
Favorite Frank Sinatra song to listen to?
It's called Without a Song, and it's on the album I Remember Tommy. It's a tribute to Tommy Dorsey, and it's a very swinging remake of the original orchestration.
Favorite Frank Sinatra song to sing?
My favorite one to sing is One for My Baby and One for the Road. It's a very sad song, but it's somebody coming to the realization that this is the way life is, and they've come to terms with it. And I think it's something that everybody can connect to.
Live from the Matthews Brothers Studios.
In case you were wondering on the vote to lower the voting age to 16 nationally, a majority of Democrats voted in favor of that. 125 Democrats in the House of Representatives, 93 voted against it. But everybody voted for this bill, H.R. 1, mandating ballot harvesting and limiting voter verification. And this is something we really need to pay attention to here. 844-500-4242. I may go over it again at some point during the course of what's left of the show tonight. But first, I have some sad news to report, and I want you to try not to let this destroy your faith in the integrity of the Antifa and BLM supporting members of the Portland City Council out in Oregon. Joanne Hardesty, do you know who she is? She's you may remember some of the stuff she did. She was the one who voted to defund the police, and then she has publicly supported both Antifa and BLM in their riots, their nonstop riots since the summer. She has blamed any violence at the mostly peaceful protests on white nationalists, who she seems to think lurk around every corner in Portland. However, this is the same woman who in November, after voting to defund the police, she started screaming at her Lyft driver when she ordered him to show up at a casino in Washington State. She was gambling. She went to a casino and was gambling, and she ordered a Lyft driver to pick her up. And the driver ended the ride early when she became irate and would not let her, that she became irate that he would not let her roll up the window due to the coronavirus. And then she ended up calling the cops to report him for not letting her roll up the window. And the cops declined to conduct a field sobriety test. She used to run the local chapter of the NAACP, and where she faced charges of improper payments and fiscal mismanagement. Last night, according to an incident report filed with the Portland Police Department, police responded to a complaint in which a teacher reported that City Councilor Joanne Hardesty, hater of police, had rear-ended her vehicle earlier in the evening. Apparently, she was either talking on the phone or texting, and she rear-ended this teacher's vehicle and then drove away. It was a hit and run, in other words. According to law enforcement sources, Hardesty may have been looking at her phone at the time of the accident. I'm shocked. There must be some mistake here. This is obviously some kind of racist frame by the Portland Police Department, right? 844-500-4242. Marion, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Marion.
Hi.
Hi, go ahead. Not picking up, Marion. Sorry. Call back. Don, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Don.
Hey, Howie. This is John in northern Maine.
Yes.
The voting age question really is about maturity. It's not about an age. I remember when I was 23 years old, my commanding officer pinning sergeant stripes on me in the Army. Big responsibility for a 23-year-old.
Right.
I doubt a 23-year-old today could change a tire on the side of the road.
I don't disagree with you. I mean, not all of them, but I mean, it would be a very rare skill, I would say.
Yeah, so it's about maturity. It's not about age. And, kids today, the maturity level is not there. The work ethic, hard work, the ability to overcome problems, understanding issues, they don't have it.
No. And they don't have the same level of civic involvement or civic literacy. They don't read as well on average. They don't write as well because they don't read books, and that's the way you learn how to read and you learn how to write, by reading. And they don't do that. And the schools are a disaster for any number of reasons. And I'd say now a college degree is probably, I used to say it was like a high school degree, but now Don, I'm thinking a college degree is probably like what you would, the kind of knowledge you would have coming out of the 8th grade back 50, 60 years ago. What does a college degree mean today? It means nothing, at least not in liberal arts. I mean, do you think more of someone because I got my bachelor's of arts degree in history or English or philosophy? I mean, so what? That and here's a quarter, kid. Call someone who cares. Thanks for the call, Don. David, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, David.
Thanks, Howie. I just wanted to say the old expression, no taxation without representation. How about no representation without taxation? If Ayanna Pressley thinks these kids are mature enough to vote, and they're mature enough to buy their own cigarettes, buy a firearm, to smoke on their own, participate in jury duty.
David, I'm glad you brought that up. If you were able to vote, shouldn't you be able to buy a firearm legally?
Absolutely, Howie. Absolutely. Protect yourself and to smoke, to drink. Oh, yeah. Maybe you can sign up for the draft. Maybe they could even push the age to 14, because it's not a big difference between 14 and 16. Really, if they want to stack the deck, start at age 14. That's what they should do. And
but David, they're going the other way with cigarettes. They're prohibiting people for the last year now, almost a year, I think, from buying menthol cigarettes in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. They don't want, you can buy marijuana, but you can't, but no matter what your age is, you can buy marijuana, but you can't buy cigarettes or menthol cigarettes. So what is that all about? I mean, this is crazy stuff. And I believe you can get an abortion without, at any age, without a parental consent. But you can't buy but you can't buy menthol cigarettes if you're 50 years old or 60 years old, because menthol cigarettes are bad for you. There's a guy on the air in the morning, and he says, with the liberals, everything is either prohibited or mandatory, and it's so true. And this is it. This is just another example of it. So pretty soon they're going to make voting mandatory. And, and even if you're dead, you're going to have to vote. And even if you're an illegal alien, you're going to have to vote. And you're going to have to vote Democrat, too. And if you don't want to vote, then someone will be glad to take your ballot and vote for you. That'll be the next step that the Democrats want. Thanks for the call, David. Rich, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Rich.
Hey, first time caller. I live in Vermont, and we have a Republican governor, but he's as liberal as they come, pretty much. And I mean, our schools are open.
Yeah.
But some of the, like, my daughter has a hybrid thing, so like she gets these daily questions, and some of them are really inappropriate. Like, what do your parents think about the Capitol incident?
Really?
What do your parents? Yeah, they're asking what your parents think. And are you talking to the local? That's overstepping the bounds.
Don't you have like a local school committee or a local school board? Can't you call somebody up and say, what kind of questions are these to be asking my child?
I'm honestly afraid to step forward because they're so progressive, is the word they like to use. That they're just, and like, are your parents gun owners? Do you have guns in the house? Like,
You're kidding.
How is that any of their business?
It's not. No, it isn't any of their
when
business.
When she starts school, they ask again, where are they kept?
Where were they kept?
Like,
that's outrageous. That's outrageous. You need to find a Republican legislator to help you out. I don't know where you live, or I don't know who represents you in the in the Vermont legislature, but these are totally inappropriate questions. But again, as you say, this guy Scott is the governor, and his administration after Thanksgiving, I've said this over and over again because it's so outrageous. They said they were going to ask kids if their parents at Thanksgiving had invited people in for the dinner who weren't members of the family. I mean, that's at a Charlie Parker level of nanny stateism. You know, whose business is it who you have over for Thanksgiving dinner? Especially when there's hardly anybody dead in Vermont from COVID. How many people have died from fentanyl poisoning? All those drugs coming right up I-91, right out of Western Mass and Connecticut into Vermont. I'll bet more people have been killed by fentanyl overdoses in the last year in Vermont than have been killed by COVID-19. Thanks for the call, Rich. I hope you can do something, get something going there. Officer Mark, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Officer Mark.
Hey, Howie, let me start by telling you I'm obeying all hands-free calling laws, unlike that Seattle Antifa member.
Yeah, are you referring to, let's have some respect for Counselor Hardesty, Officer Mark.
I'm sorry. I'm genuflecting while I'm driving. Thank you. Hey, I wanted to just mention about this 16-year-old voting.
Yes.
I'm just wondering, could we also include in that, if it's going to pass, that they register for selective service at 16?
Yeah, that would be good. Do you think anybody registered? Do you think let me put it this way. Do you think any of the undocumented immigrants, the unaccompanied minors, do you think any of them are registering for selective service, Officer Mark, the way we had to register?
I seriously doubt it. I had to register after I got discharged because I was still in the age group. See ya, Howie.
Thank you, Officer Mark. There's nothing that makes you feel like an American citizen when you get that pre-induction physical notice. Show up at the courthouse. The bus will take you down to Fort Bragg, and you'll get your pre-induction physical. Thank goodness Richard Nixon ended the draft, because I was looking at 2 years in the hole. 844-500-4242. Eden Pure's famous BOGO offer is back for this week only. For the first time ever, they're offering the Gen 40 heater BOGO just to our listeners. This is a $300 savings. You heard me, $300 savings. Buy one, get one free. For how cold it still is at night in New England, you're going to want to take advantage of this offer right now. It's available for just this week, so don't delay. This is an incredible savings, $300, two for the price of one. Gas and oil prices have already skyrocketed. Robert from the Cape says the Gen 40 heater performs like no other heater I've ever used. It is remarkable. The Eden Pure Gen 40 makes you feel warmer than your furnace, and it also costs less to run. You may be working from home now and have noticed the increase in heating bills. The Eden Pure Gen 40 will pay for itself in a matter of weeks, but with this deal, it's more like days. Go to EdenPure.com and put in code word Howie BOGO. That's EdenPure.com and use code word Howie BOGO. This is the 1 week only sale, so act now. It'll be gone at the end of the week. EdenPure.com, and don't forget code word Howie BOGO. I'm Howie Carr.
When Howie's on, every radio is a magic radio.
This hour of the Howie Carr Show is brought to you in part by Defensive Strategies in Manchester, New Hampshire. Defensive Strategies is the premier firearms training company in southern New Hampshire with more than 100 classes from beginner to instructor level. Come to where the trainers train. Visit defensivestrategies.org.
He might not be flashy, but he's there when it counts. Here's 1 minute of Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell.
For the first time in my memory, I agree with Nancy Pelosi. I am indeed the Grim Reaper when it comes to the socialist agenda that they've been ginning up over in the House.
You watch the fight, you watch the tactics, but here's what I want to tell you. In the very near future, Judge Kavanaugh will be on the United States Supreme Court.
Noted with great interest the Green New Deal. And we're going to be voting on that in the Senate. We'll give everybody an opportunity to go on record and see how they feel about the Green New Deal.
Well, first on the impartiality issue, do you think Chuck Schumer's impartial? Do you think Elizabeth Warren is impartial?
No.
Bernie Sanders is impartial? So let's quit the charade. This is a political exercise. Nobody is supposed to be guilty until proven innocent in the United States of America. Look, we're at an impasse. We can't do anything until the speaker sends the papers over, so everybody enjoy the holidays.
Hair loss is not one of life's more enjoyable experiences. If you're looking to fill in your hairline or reverse years of hair loss, DiStefano Hair Restoration will create a result that will be a transformative experience. The result of my IGT procedure was quite remarkable. I now have fuller, thicker hair, so I can even wear it a bit longer. There are a few major decisions I've made in my life that I wish I did sooner. My hair restoration is number one. It was by far one of the best moves I've ever made. My hair looks awesome, and the confidence from having a full head of hair again has left me feeling great. I used to look in the mirror and dreaded seeing my ever-increasing bald spot. Now when I look in the mirror, I see the new me with a full head of thick hair. For information on how to make the same choice I did, go to hairman.com/Howie. What are you waiting for? More hair to fall out? Get the hair you've always wanted. Hairman.com/Howie. And now, another minute of Madam Speaker, Nancy Pelosi.
But again, you have these wings, AOC and her group on one side.
That's like 5 people. They would say, play games, and then they say open sesame, except we don't say sesame, we say open Biden. But no, I because we are not. We have the number is growing. We have 91 women. There are 115 women in Congress, 116. 15 are Republican, 91 are Democrats. I happen to be a manifestation of the women power that is coming forth now, but only one manifestation. It was like getting kicked in the back by a mule constantly.
It was physical. It was so unbelievable. The Times found Lincoln. Not to be presumptuous to put ourselves in those categories, but the Times have found us.
Come on, T-Dope. I want to do my share of the work.
Howie Carr is back.
Proud to be a Neanderthal. I guess you'd have a picture of a Neanderthal, and he would be setting his mask on fire, or maybe hitting it with a club in the in his very cozy cave that he shares with Alley Oop. 844-500-4242 Neanderthals. There's a story in the New York Times about Neanderthals a couple of days ago, and suddenly yesterday, every moonbat right up to the president of the United States is comparing Republicans to Neanderthals. 844-500-40. Isn't that a hate crime? Are Neanderthals a member of any protected classes? What if it was a trans Neanderthal that you were talking about, Mr. President? Would you feel shamed? Katie, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Katie.
Just recommending that people read the book Gorky Park, which was seemingly a murder mystery set in the Soviet Union in the late 70s. It is just like our country is now. Children tell on parents. Friends tell on other friends. The proletariat is starting to realize that it's not the workers who get the rewards, it's the party heads.
Yeah, I know. Supposedly in East Germany, Stasi I've seen numbers of between 3% and 10% of the population was actively employed as spies against the larger part of the population. This kind of society can't last. I mean, people will eventually rebel. But the question is, why would you want to destroy the most successful society in the history of humankind? Why do they want to do this? And things were going so smoothly. I mean, in every way, the economy, foreign policy, Donald Trump can't control your personal happiness, but if he can keep you safe and put some money in your pocket and make sure there aren't any foreign wars, and make sure that we're not spending American blood and treasure to get oil from foreign countries. I mean, what more do you want out of a guy? And they hated him. They despised him. They like America to be weak, a pitiful, helpless giant. And I think those were the words of Richard Nixon way back when. That's what they want, America to be a pitiful, helpless giant. We're on our way. And it's been less than 2 months since he took office. Lee, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Lee.
First time caller from Burlington, Vermont. And I'm concerned because yesterday when I went to vote, not a single Republican on the ballot, and the invasiveness of the things that were passed they want to know exactly what's in your house, and they passed a ballot saying to tax and charge you fees if you use fossil fuels. It's a ruse to get into your house and find out what's in it.
Well, I think isn't Berkeley, California, haven't they passed legislation that you can't use fossil fuel to heat new homes that are built, maybe even new commercial buildings as well? I mean,
what they just did here.
What do they think? What do they think people are going to use to stay warm? What do they think? What do they think powers electric power? Have they been watching to see what's happened in Texas the last few weeks with their reliance on wind and solar power? Do they not think about that?
Just don't prepare for it, and they're trying to push everybody onto electricity, and they don't have the capacity to do it with what they want to use. They don't want to use anything like natural gas. They don't want to use oil. They don't want to use anything that's fossil fuel. And they're just not going to have any way to generate the capacity needed. And it's a way of controlling the population.
I agree.
Just the way Nazis took away the radio to control Germany.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but I do know. Obviously, they want control, and you know the weird thing is, they don't think they're ever going to deal with a brownout or a blackout. Bernie Sanders never considers the fact that maybe sometime he's going to be home in Burlington or at the Lakeside place, and he's going to try to turn up the heat, and there's not going to be any heat. Never occurs to him, I don't think. Maybe he's got a generator, but he's got to have to power. He's going to have to power the generator somehow, right? What's he going to use? Wood chips? 844-500-4242. That's the toll-free number of the Howie Carr Show. When we come back, we're going to have with us Senator Marsha Blackburn from Tennessee. The Senate is taking up this big so-called COVID relief bill. We'll also be asking her about H1. I'm Howie Carr.
After 167 years, we here at Matthews Brothers have been involved in figuratively millions, if not literally dozens of home renovations. And we can tell you from experience, the most commonly uttered word on a remodeling job is fudge. Not like, hey, Wilbur, be a good fella and pass me some of that delicious fudge. No, it's more like, oh, fudge, Wilbur, you just dropped the wrecking ball on the wrong house again. In order to prevent the, oh, fudge, that color combination looked a lot less ghastly in my mind than it does in real life type of old fudge, we strongly recommend our visualizer. Take Mr. John M. of Cape Jellison, Maine, who reported, thanks to your visualizer, our home renovation came out exactly like we planned, and now my wife almost never says, oh, fudge. At least when it comes to our windows. Thank you, Matthews Brothers. And a Mr. Richard Fader of Fort Lee, New Jersey added, your visualizer is amazing. You fellas ought to call it the Fudge Preventer. You can learn more about our wicked awesome windows and doors, but only at Better Lumber Yards and Window Professionals or on the web at MatthewsBrothers.com. That's Matthews Brothers with one T, America's oldest window manufacturer.
Brace yourself, guys. Here is 1 minute of Nancy Pelosi.
I myself have always been for lowering the voting age to 16. I think it's really important to capture kids when they're in high school, which was a very amicable conversation. Amiable, I guess you would say, not amicable.
That they wanted their voices to be heard.
I don't think our colleague is anti-Semitic. I think she has a different experience in the use of words. That's not the total package, but there are some of the major points of discussion, I would hope, from sea to shining sea, because they are not getting paid 163. Was it 163 Republicans voted no? Wisdom from the kitchen of the Willard Hotel, yes, ma'am. The president either doesn't know what he's talking about or doesn't want to know what he's talking about.
Which two words best describe the Biden administration?
Well, I feel, families should be, the rapidly rising I don't know.
First, any specific.
You're listening to the Howie Carr Show.
You've been hearing me talk about Super Beets for a while now, and I'm sure some of you are still thinking, why Super Beets? You could take it from me. The benefits of Super Beets are incredible. I take them twice a day, once in the morning when I get up, even before I have my first cup of coffee, and the other time in the afternoon, right before the show. It gives me a burst of energy. It's great for my blood pressure. It's good for circulation. It just makes you feel better. If that doesn't convince you, we can talk about the science behind Super Beets. Beets have nitrates. Nitrates support better blood flow, and better blood flow equals better energy and efficiency throughout the body, and even supports healthy blood pressure. But Super Beets does so much more than eating regular beets and is unparalleled compared to other beet powders. Just one scoop of Super Beets has the nitric oxide equivalent of 3 whole beets. Go to superbeetsradio.com/Howie and try out Super Beets yourself. www.superbeetsradio.com/Howie. www.superbeetsradio.com/Howie.
I tested positive. Let's use this example of me having it as proof that you can get it too. God forbid, the rest of us should be staying at home for our mothers and the people that we love, and to keep us farther apart will ultimately bring us closer together in this cause. We have to do everything we can to avoid being sick. No matter where the virus goes, the way to stop it will always be the same. Our collective conscientious actions. Staying home. Staying home saves lives. I don't want some loser, fat tire biker get in my face and in my space and talk to me. I don't want to hear it. All right, here it is. The official re-entry from the basement.
You're a phony. Hey, this guy's a great big phony.
Cleared by CDC. A little sweaty. Just worked out.
Oh, my. This is Charlie Baker.
Hey, everybody. Massachusetts Governor Charlie Baker here.
And these are his friends.
There's a group of about 10 people outside of work that represent the entire universe of the community that I've spent time with and my wife has spent time with since March.
In the world of Charlie Baker and his friends, the real world of panic porn, political leaders cannot survive without absolute power. And the public can't be expected to blindly follow orders without first hearing a made-up story.
We spent time with about 10 people, period. We have a lot of friends we have not seen for months, and we don't know when we will see them. There are lots of people we haven't seen in like forever.
It's a confusing, nonsensical, follow-the-science world, but it's the only world they know.
Those are the rules in this game that we all need to play by.
And they're the only friends Charlie Baker has.
My wife and my circle of friends has gotten very small.
You're listening to the Howie Carr Show.
I know he always asks me tough questions, and he always has an edge to him, but I like him anyway.
Now that you're president and you're saying there's nothing we can do to change the trajectory of the pandemic in the next several months, what happened to 2 months ago when you were talking declaratively about I'm going to shut down the virus? When President Trump was imposing travel restrictions in March, specifically on China, then candidate Biden called it xenophobic and fear-mongering. So now President Biden is putting travel restrictions on people coming in from other countries. What words we use to describe that?
Well, I don't think that's quite a fair articulation.
Why weren't President Biden and all members of the Biden family masked at all times on federal lands last night if he signed an executive order that mandates masks on federal lands at all times?
He was celebrating an evening, a historic day.
Everyone knows I love coffee and I'm not giving it up. I know that it would keep me up from time to time, but no longer with Balance 7. Balance 7 is a clear mineral liquid that you take 3 times a day to break down the acid in your body. When it does this, you'll feel better, and I sleep better. Often I'm asked to try products and I can be very skeptical on their claims. But with Balance 7, it was all 100% true. With Balance 7, I didn't feel my energy starting to flag as the day wore on, because by sleeping better at night, it also gave me mental clarity during the day. Balance 7 is a highly alkalizing concentrate. That means it reduces the acids that have built up in your body. Balance 7 is also known for reducing acid reflux and heartburn, as it did for the mailroom manager. Balance 7 is made of safe, all natural ingredients. If you suffer from heartburn, acid reflux, or sleep issues, you should give Balance 7 a try. Order the 8-ounce 12-pack supply at balance7.com. Put in code word Howie. You will save $10 and you'll also get free shipping. Balance7.com.
Are we starting to feel bad for Joe Biden? Sorta. Are we going to play his gaffes anyway? Of course.
My name's Joe Biden. I'm a Democratic candidate for the United States Senate. Now we need to stand behind Jamie Harrison, the next president, next senator. I'm looking forward to appointing the first African-American woman to the United States Senate. Just like here in California, here in Nevada. Back in the spring, late fall, late spring, late winter, early fall. Anyway, you know what I mean. Look, tomorrow's Superstar Tuesday. I tell you what, I'm rushing ahead, aren't I? We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by go. You know the.
Better strap yourself in. It's time for the Howie Carr Show.
The last thing we need is Neanderthal thinking that in the meantime everything's fine. Take off your mask. Forget it.
Today, I feel the same way as I did the day that Hillary Clinton called all of us in Middle America deplorables.
You could put half of Trump supporters into what I call the basket of deplorables.
Oh, not this again.
When President Biden said that we were all Neanderthals, it struck me as someone who needs to get outside of Washington, D.C. and actually travel to Middle America.
Get up and get out of this basement.
Live from the Matthews Brothers Studio.
This feels dreadful. The only way I know how to improve it is with a shredder.
Do I get the confetti?
Please welcome Rip Taylor.
Rump swabs, hacks, and moonbats beware. It's Howie Carr.
So there are two terrible bills right now in front of Congress. One was H.R. 1, which was passed last night by the House, and it's now going to go to the Senate. That's the one to basically legalize all sorts of election fraud. If you like 220, you'll love H.R. 1. The other bill is the so-called COVID relief package, $2 trillion of pork, basically, which is in the Senate. It's being debated right now. They're starting the debate. And joining us now to talk about that is Senator Marsha Blackburn of Tennessee. Senator Blackburn, thanks for being with us here on the Howie Carr Show.
Oh, I'm delighted to join you and talk about these issues. My goodness, interesting times, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm thinking of the Chinese curse, may you live in interesting times.
Yes.
Yeah, I just assumed they were a little less interesting. Anyway, can you guys stop the this COVID relief porculus bill that's going through the Senate right now?
We need one vote, and we're trying to find that one brave Democrat that will vote with us on this.
I mean, your universe is pretty small, isn't it? It comes down to either Manchin or Sinema, doesn't it?
Well, pretty much. But here is the thing. We're going to be in this vote-a-rama. We'll see if we can make it less bad, or if we have one Democrat that will break and will come our way and vote against it.
Now, but you know what they're going to say. If you do succeed, and I hope you do, and most of our listeners hope you do as well, they're going to the Democrats are going to come out and demagogue on all the left-wing outlets and say the Republicans don't want the hardworking Americans who need these payments. They stop them from getting it. If you have a problem, call your Republican senator. You know that's what they're going to do, Senator Blackburn, right?
Well, and that is why we are spending a lot of time talking about this bill. Only 9% of the bill goes for COVID relief, and the rest of it is their pet projects. You know, what they're trying to do is pre-fund their wish list and pay back all of these lobbyists and left-leaning groups that helped them win the House, the White House, and the Senate. So, for them, this is business as usual. It's payback time. And they're trying to pave the way. Part of it is they know that they're going to lose the House and the Senate in the midterm elections. They already know that. And you can see that they know that by how aggressive they're working on this agenda. They feel like, they can't waste a day. So whether it's the Equality Act or HR 1 on voting, or this bill that is going to pave the way for the Green New Deal and $350 billion to bail out all of these big blue states that have mismanaged their pension funds and their budgets. They are trying to, roll the dice, go for broke, and get in the race car and see how fast they can get to the finish line to take away your freedom and give it to the government.
We talked about it, one particularly odious provision yesterday, and I'm just going to cite that. I want you to talk about it, and then I want you to cite the thing you think is worst in the bill. I'm talking about the provision that says if you're a federal employee not in the military and you have a kid that's in school and not going to school, between now and September 30th, you can take off 15 weeks with $1,400 a week pay. I mean, how is that justifiable? The people in the private sector are hurting. They can't. A lot of them can't go back to work because the teachers unions won't allow the schools to be open, and yet these people are going to get a 15-week vacation for keeping the schools closed. How outrageous is this?
Well, it's completely outrageous. But look at what they're doing. You've got all of these schools in D.C. and Fairfax County, Virginia. All of these teachers unions are refusing to go back to the classroom.
Right.
So you have all these federal employees that can't find childcare for their children. So what are they going to do? They're going to pay them to stay home. Like you said, it is going to be a 15-week vacation. They're just going to stay home. They're going to enjoy this, and they're still going to get a paycheck. It might be more than they're currently making, but you know what? They're going to get a paycheck. If they're afraid they're going to get COVID by going to work, they're going to get a paycheck.
I hope you guys are going to publicize this because not nearly enough people know about this right now. What would you say, Senator Blackburn, is the most ridiculous part of this incredible $2 trillion bill?
I think the fact that is so ridiculous on this is there is still $1 trillion that has already been appropriated, that is in the pipeline, that has not been used. And instead of reprogramming some of that money to be targeted to people and businesses and vaccines and shots in arms and helping people that have seen loss of life and livelihood, what are they doing? They're drawing up this $2 trillion bill. Less than 10% of it, 9%, goes to COVID. The rest of it is their wish list. It is there to fund museums, and it's there to be grants to areas that have lost income. It's there to bail out these blue states. It is there to fund art projects. It's all these things not related at all, but you've got leftist organizations who have said, we want this, and so they're going to give them this money, and the taxpayer's the one that's going to pay for this.
Well, I hope you could stop it. But, I think this H1 is even more would be more devastating to America if it were passed, changing all the laws, federalizing elections, basically allowing automatic registration of illegal aliens in many states where they allow illegals to get driver's licenses, prohibiting clearing the voter rolls of dead people, allowing felons to vote. And I talked to Andy Biggs earlier today, the Republican congressman from Arizona. He said he thinks you're going to be able to stop that one. Do you agree?
I think we are. There are some of us that are putting a hold on this legislation as soon as it comes over here to the Senate. And so we're going to hopefully be able to stop this thing. It is a ridiculous bill. What it would do is federalize elections. So if your listeners liked the way the elections were run in 2020, they're going to run HR 1. The other thing, it would federalize funding of campaigns. So what you would see is the federal government would give you a certain amount of money to run your campaign with. You would no longer raise money. And so what you would have is you would be given your quota, and then it would be up to you to go run your campaign with that amount of money. Now, who do you think that big tech and big media is going to side with if we do this? It is not going to be the conservatives.
What about, as long as I'm getting you on all these atrocities that are going through, what about the Equality Act? Is that a done deal? The Equality Act, or basically destroying Title IX? No.
Right. What the Equality Act would do is, you said Title IX, but you look at the gains that we've worked so hard to make for women, to level the playing field. And then you look at the Equality Act, and basically a lot of these gains for women would be erased. So I think that one's going to have some problems also.
Boy, I hope so. Am I missing anything? Are there things? As long as I've got you.
I got to tell you, Howie, it's like every single day there is some new outrageous something that they come up with. And I feel like it's the whack-a-mole of bad ideas that we get up and we're here fighting every single day. But you know what? I am in this fight for faith, family, freedom, hope, and opportunity, and I am going to keep batting down these bad ideas.
Well, that's great. I hope you succeed, and I hope to swing Manchin or Sinema over to your side to stop this ridiculous $2 trillion pork bill. Just it's so ridiculous, especially with the, like you say, $1 billion, $1 trillion already in the pipeline, and they're not messing around with it. They want to just keep that in their back pocket, I guess. Senator Blackburn, we'll be talking to you again, and good luck this weekend. I know you're going to have a lot of late nights, but keep up the fight. Thanks for being with us here on the Howie Carr Show.
I will.
Thanks. Thank you. Senator Marsha Blackburn, Republican of Tennessee. I don't know about you, but I feel like I'm always looking at a screen these days, now more than ever. And whether you're an avid news watcher or in serious need of a distraction, unplugging yourself is easier said than done. One of my favorite ways now to rest my eyes and still get the content I'm itching for is by putting in my Raycon wireless earbuds and listening to something great. You can listen to anything. You can listen to your favorite albums. You can listen to great podcasts. You can listen to the Howie Carr Show. Because we have podcasts, anything you want, you can listen to them on your Raycon wireless earbuds. They're quite stylish, nothing dangling out of your ears, and the price is better than any other high quality earbuds on the market. They're so reasonably priced that you should buy some for your significant other, either at home or at work, if you don't like their music or their podcasts. Raycons are built to perform anywhere and anytime with water and sweat resistant construction and Bluetooth that pairs quickly and seamlessly. And with enough battery life for 6 hours of playtime, you can unplug for a while. Raycons come in a range of stylish colorways with a comfortable in-ear fit for a more discreet look. The best part? Raycon makes great sound available to everyone with wireless earbuds starting at half the price of other premium audio brands. I think tomorrow is going to be a Bob Dylan day out on the bike path. I think I'm going to go for Highway 61 revisited, and maybe a little Blonde on Blonde from the electric guitar era back in the mid 60s. It's great music, and it sounds better than ever on my Raycons. Raycon's offering 15% off all their products for my listeners, and here's all you've got to do to get it. Go to buyraycon.com/Howie. That's 15% off at buyraycon.com/Howie. Buyraycon.com/Howie. I'm Howie Carr.
He's New England's talk radio king. He's Howie Carr.
Joe Biden's plagiarizing prowess proves one thing: he's been stealing all his life.
Why is it that Joe Biden is the first in his family ever to go to a university?
Why am I the first kid in 1,000 generations to be able to get to university?
Why is it that my wife, who's sitting out there in the audience, is the first in her family to ever go to college?
Why is Glenys the first woman in her family in 1,000 generations to be able to get to university?
No, it's not because they weren't as smart.
Does anybody really think that they didn't get what we had because they didn't have the talent?
It's not because they didn't work as hard.
Or the strength, or the endurance, or the commitment. Of course not.
It's because they didn't have a platform upon which to stand.
It was because there was no platform upon which they could stand.
I should have said, to paraphrase Neil Kinnock, it's the only time I didn't, and all the times I've ever used it.
Come on, man.
Now's the perfect time to get a pair of premium wireless earbuds, and Raycon is the way to go. Raycon start at about half the price of other premium brands on the market, and they sound just as amazing. And Raycon's everyday E25 earbuds are their best model yet. You get 6 hours of playtime, seamless Bluetooth pairing, more bass, and a more compact design that gives you a comfortable, noise-isolating fit. Perfect for conference calls, video chats, or binging podcasts. Raycon was founded by Ray J, and celebrities like Cardi B and J.R. Smith have already given Raycons their seal of approval. I love my Raycons, and Grace loves hers, too.
Howie, I love my Raycons. Best birthday gift ever.
I listen to much better music than she does, though.
Hey, that's not true.
Now it's your turn to see what the hype is all about. Go to buyraycon.com/Howie. That's buyraycon.com/Howie. Buyraycon.com/Howie.
Hello, all the participants in tonight's event. We can overcome the deadly virus. We can reward work. We will reclaim our credibility. The pandemic, we need all our strength to persevere. Rural versus urban. America built of decency. I took it to instill public confidence in the vaccine. President-elect Harris took hers today for the same reason. Everybody is entitled to be treated with decency. All my colleagues I serve with in the House and the Senate up here. James Joyce was said to have told a friend. I understand they worry about their jobs. I understand, like my dad, they lay at bed staring at the ceiling. Yes. God love you, man. You're a one-horse pony. Come on, give me a break, man.
There's no silencing him. They've tried.
You're not going to intimidate me. I'm entitled to my opinion.
Howie Carr.
844-500-4242. Today's poll question is brought to you by the Nauset Beach Inn. Opened this winter for the first time in 63 years. Book an ocean view room with fireplace for only $100. And don't forget school vacation weeks. Book today at nausetbeachinn.com, N-A-U-S-E-T, nausetbeachinn.com before they sell out. It's a great place. Jared, what's the poll question? What are the results thus far?
What's the best age to allow voting? 16, 18, 21, or 25?
I should have put 25 plus. That would have been better, but I'm going to stick with 25.
25 is now polling at 29%. Age 21 still in the lead at 52. 16 still polling at 1%.
Ayanna Presley has some of my listeners in her congressional district. You know, it used to be represented by Mike Capuano from Somerville, who once said, "I'm proud to be a hack." So she's got some of my listeners, but no one's with her on this one. 844-500-4242. You know, this thing about we're gonna play some Charlie Parker cuts, but I just want to tell you how greedy these people are for they want every victory, the left, and that's what this HR1 is all about. There was a special primary election on Tuesday to replace Robert DeLeo, the unindicted co-conspirator, Speaker of the House, who quit to take a hack job at Northeastern University. And so there was 4 people running, and one of them, they were three, peas in a pod type radical Dems. And the fourth one was a lawyer, Jeffrey Turco. And he called himself a Reagan Democrat. He voted for Biden. He wanted to come on the show. I just didn't I wasn't thinking about it. Maybe I would have had him on if I'd have been thinking about it, but I wasn't. So I didn't have him on. And he said he voted for Trump in 2016. He's against sanctuary cities. I don't think he's pro-abortion. So let's see. He led the field in fundraising, even as his competitors and outside organizations railed against him for his stances on sanctuary cities. So he wanted to enforce the law and abortion. And big-name Democrats, including Bernie Sanders, Julian Castro, and Ayanna Pressley, endorsed this Colombian immigrant who's a labor organizer from Revere. So 4 people. Turco wins with 36% of the vote. He's going to be the next rep from Winthrop Revere area, most likely. And what is the response of the radical Dems? We need to have ranked choice voting so no one who ever voted for Donald Trump and opposes illegal immigration can ever represent the Democrat Party or anybody else again. Now remember too, ranked choice voting just went down to defeat 4 months ago in November in Massachusetts. Ranked choice voting, where you get to pick your second choice. So it makes sure. So what it means basically is they just keep counting the votes until the most radical liberal wins. So it lost by 10 points statewide, 10 points, even though, all these high-tech billionaires were throwing in all kinds of money into it. And the people that were against ranked choice voting had about 32 cents, but they still won. And so now they don't care about the fact that the people voted against ranked choice voting. They want to just have it the way it is, winner take all. And so they said, we need ranked choice voting. So in other words, ranked choice voting is great. Or whatever they win, it's settled. It's over, whether it's in a court or in an election. But if they lose, everything is on the table, and the rules have to be changed, and they have to be changed again and again and again until the radicals win. And this is just another example of it. Jeffrey Turco, I congratulate him on winning. 844-500-4242. Chris, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Chris.
Hey, Howie, first-time caller. Thanks for taking my call. I just had a comment about the whole voting age change proposition going on in Washington right now.
Yes.
So when this country was first founded, it was only landowning males that could vote. And I'm not saying we go all the way back to that. But what about, say you'll have 8 kids. And once those kids are all grown, if I was a terrible parent, those kids are all voting now, or at least eligible to vote.
Yes.
How about you got to be a married adult to vote? So if you wait till you're 40, sorry. Support some nuclear family. It could be a great solution.
I know, but that's not going to happen. Can you imagine if you ever were a legislator like this guy Turco and you proposed that bill? The ACLU and every Democrat special interest group would come after you so hard. They want you understand, Chris? They want illegal aliens to vote. They want felons to vote. Bernie Sanders was asked during the primary campaign last year, should the Boston Marathon bomber, Sarniev, the Joker, should he be allowed to vote from the Supermax federal prison where he's on death row? He's on death row. And Bernie Sanders said, of course he should be allowed to vote. He wanted to allow the Boston Marathon bomber to vote. 844, thanks for the call, Chris. 844-500-4242. I'm Howie Carr. It's a new year and time for a new you. DiStefano Hair Restoration changed my life, and they can change yours too. My production director said when he saw a recent pic of me that you look great, like Benjamin Button. You're getting younger. That's quite the compliment, and I owe it to DiStefano Hair Restoration and Dr. Chris Hines. Many wait years before they get the hair restoration they deserve. Stop waiting and just get it done. You won't regret it, and you'll ask yourself, why did you wait so long? You can see my before and after photo shoot on their site at hairman.com. Hairman.com. DiStefano Hair Restoration is taking all the necessary precautions to keep you safe during your visit. They also offer virtual consultations. Go to hairman.com today and schedule your free consultation and get the hair you deserve and have always wanted. Dr. Highness took care of me and he'll take care of you too. Visit them today at hairman.com.
What does the mainstream media really think of you? Banjos, please.
Bigots and racists. Credulous, rude, tin-toothed, working class, angry, white.
Aging, angry white guys. Angry white man.
Angry white old men.
These angry white men.
The angry white vote. All these angry white people. Too many of them want to see the people who are begging for change put down.
Racist. Racist, bigoted base.
It's white privilege, it's white nationalism, it's anger, it's rage, it's incel.
They tolerate a certain level of racism.
1 in 3 Americans are racist.
The credulous boomer Rube demo.
Y'all elitists are dead.
You elitists with your geography and your maps and your spelling. Even though my
math and your reading.
Yeah, you're reading.
They're too far gone.
Look at them. They're high-fiving each other, and they're going to go back, to the Olive Garden and to the Holiday Inn that they're staying at and the Garden Marriott, and they're going to have some drinks.
Hair loss is not one of life's more enjoyable experiences. If you're looking to fill in your hairline or reverse years of hair loss, DiStefano Hair Restoration will create a result that will be a transformative experience. The result of my IGT procedure was quite remarkable. I now have fuller, thicker hair so I can even wear it a bit longer. There are a few major decisions I've made in my life that I wish I did sooner. My hair restoration is number one. It was by far one of the best moves I've ever made. My hair looks awesome, and the confidence from having a full head of hair again has left me feeling great. I used to look in the mirror and dreaded seeing my ever-increasing bald spot. Now when I look in the mirror, I see the new me with a full head of thick hair. For information on how to make the same choice I did, go to hairman.com/Howie. What are you waiting for? More hair to fall out? Get the hair you've always wanted. Hairman.com/Howie.
And now, 1 minute of Nancy Pelosi.
It is a bill that is much needed for our farmers and ranchers. I think there are only 47 votes against it in the House of Representatives. The American people should know the source of it. Again, we are engaged in the year-end continuing resolution, Homeland Security. I'm not sure. No, I haven't spoken to him since he called the other day, which was a very amicable conversation. Amiable, I guess you would say, not amicable. And I talked to Chuck last night to say, we haven't had an answer. There are other things that are going on that are newsworthy, and I think you'd have more viewers or readers if people would address concerns that people have. The list goes on about the
Here's 1 minute of getting to know Jared Diglio. What would be your last meal on Earth?
Pizza, cheese pizza, just regular cheese pizza.
What drink are you going to have with your pizza?
I gotta go Coke. You gotta go Coke with pizza. It's the perfect combination.
Where's your favorite vacation spot?
I'm a staycation kind of guy. I like just staying in my place, but if I had to go to a destination, I love Italy, especially Rome.
If you could live in any state besides Massachusetts, which one would you choose?
Nevada. Wide open land, people leave you alone. Plus, it's not that far from Vegas or LA.
If you weren't in radio, what profession would you be in?
Gigolo.
Favorite comic book character?
Spider-Man. He's been my favorite since I was a kid. He's the most identifiable of the superheroes. He's just kind of a normal guy who's got a lot of problems, but he's got to overcome it and save the day.
Favorite Star Trek character?
I love TNG, but I got to go with James T. Kirk.
Dogs or cats?
Neither.
McDonald's or Burger King?
McDonald's.
Ice cream or cake?
Ice cream.
Sweet or salty?
Sweet.
Coffee or tea?
Live from the Matthews Brothers Studio.
844-500-4242. Thursday is the big day now in Massachusetts. That's when you could sign up to get your vaccinations, but you can't really. And, remember a couple of weeks ago, they had the octopus up there and it said no more appointments. The octopus is gone. The state seal is up there with the wooden Indian. But the message remains the same. No more appointments. No more appointments. Mass vaccine sites at Fenway Park, Gillette Stadium, and the Reggie Lewis Center were booked around daybreak, with smaller venues also filling up fast, the state announced this morning. The CVS portal was jammed with traffic early, but is now also tapped out. For the third week in a row, the Thursday morning mad dash for doses is over. I thought they didn't open these things until 8 o'clock in the morning, but at 7:10, MassGov put out a tweet: due to limited federal supply. So of course it can't be Charlie Parker's fault, right? It can't be. So due to a limited federal supply, he's really angry that he can't blame Trump anymore, but any port in the storm, so he'll blame Biden. And a large number of previously scheduled second dose appointments, first dose appointments are no longer available today. Please check other locations for availability. This is at 7:10. Both the Massachusetts VaxFinder website and the CVS vaccine portal were jammed worse than the Mass Pike at rush hour pre-pandemic, right after 4 a.m. This is the Herald. A CVS vaccine agent told the Herald just after 4:30 a.m. today that the system was undergoing a reboot. Oh, the old reboot. It's funny when you're looking to buy something from a private sector vendor, you very seldom run into reboots, do you? The fierce competition comes after CVS announced yesterday morning teachers are now eligible for the coronavirus vaccination. Charlie Parker added hours later, educators can book appointments on the state site beginning March 11th. There aren't enough now. There weren't enough for people 75 and over, so he cut it to 74 to 65, and he added people who have alleged comorbidities under the age of 65. In other words, come one, come all. And now they're going to let teachers in. What could possibly go wrong? So you can't get on the site now, but he keeps putting more and more people on, but he blames it on the feds. Let's see. The state VaxFinder site had been locked up for some since 4:30 a.m. Other vaccine scraping sites remain stuck in the same virtual purgatory. Thanks, Charlie Parker. Let's see. Here's Charlie today talking about this. This was a press conference this afternoon. Cut one.
Due to the high trafficking that exists on the scheduling websites, users were placed into waiting rooms, and once they were allowed through, they were able to find and schedule appointments if they were available. And they went fast due to the massive demand that exists for those and the constrained supply that we're all living with. I know that remains frustrating for everybody who's involved, who couldn't get an appointment booked this week. As we said at the start of this phase, it would probably take several weeks.
It's funny that so many states that aren't on lockdown and aren't treating this like it's the Black Death of the 14th century are getting the vaccines out without any of this kind of red tape and problems and confusion and snafu. You'd almost think Charlie Parker doesn't know what the hell he's doing. Cut two.
Let's suppose we had made a decision in Massachusetts to believe everything we had been told about what was going to happen with respect to Pfizer, Moderna, and J&J, and it scheduled out 3 weeks based on what we had been told. We would be in really big trouble right now.
Again, remember the sites went down at 7:10 a.m. this morning, but the last 2 weeks they weren't supposed to open until 8, but they were closed down. Some of them at 4:30 in the morning, and they were all shut down by 7:10 a.m. What worse trouble could you be in, Charlie Parker? Cut 11.
You may remember when we first started expanding our infrastructure here in Massachusetts, we had a lot of catching up to do. And this is a race against time. At the end of the day, it's a race against time. New variants, other concerns, everybody wanting to get vaccinated. We needed more. And every state in the country is creating large-scale sites in the race against time. And for us, this race against time.
It's a race against time, in case you missed it. But again, why don't we blame the feds one more time? We'll go back to the calls after this last one, but it's important to remember to blame the feds. Charlie Parker, the buck does not stop with him. He is the original alibi Ike of the 50 state governors here. It's all the Fed's fault. It used to be Orange Man Bad's fault. Orange Man Bad is gone, and he's very disappointed that he's gone, but he'll still blame anybody that he can for his own failings. Cut 3.
Well, I think unless there's a significant increase in supply coming from the feds, it's going to be hard to get through the current eligible universe by the end of March.
Well, so why did you add the teachers to the list? Why did you add the people from 65 to 74? Why did you add the so-called two comorbidities to the list when you knew that was going to be just a recipe for mega cheating and fraud?
Don't know.
I know. Joe, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Joe.
Hello.
Go ahead.
Howie?
Yes.
All right, Howie. I was just wondering about this bill that's in Congress to federalize the election. I thought the Supreme Court said that the state legislatures can have the only authority to federalize the election, or does that just pertain?
What are you making, Joe? Are you making a rational argument here? Come on, you know better than that.
How dare you? It's absurd.
I know, and people say, well, we're going to try to tie this up and hope the courts will help us out. What leads anyone to believe that the courts would ever help them out, especially when they're loaded up with these Obama appointees that don't give a bleep about law or the Constitution? They just want to fundamentally transform the United States of America. It's crazy. And it's in the halls of justice. The only justice is in the halls. And this is just more proof. I mean, the fact that they wouldn't take Pennsylvania versus Texas to save the election for Donald Trump, the fact that after the election was decided, after he was back in Florida, they still wouldn't take up the questions, as Joe said, of the unconstitutional changes that the unelected bureaucrats made in Pennsylvania to tip the state to dementia Joe Biden. So what makes them think they're going to save the country this time around? It's going to be up to the Republicans in the Senate. I mean, that's it. Talk about the thin blue line. You couldn't get much thinner line than Mitch McConnell et al. Steve, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Steve.
Howie, from a Democrat's point of view, lowering the voting age to 16 makes perfect sense.
Of course.
Think about it. The kids are in school. They've got their union teachers telling them that they've got to vote Democrat. It's a great idea for the Democrats to get it down to 16. And Howie, one more thing.
Yes.
Senator Blackburn seems very sanguine about Republicans getting seats in 2022. But if Republicans have a civil war between now and 2022, we might lose seats like we did in Georgia.
I know. I think it's just expected that they're going to. People are seeing the absolute carnage that the Democrats can do to the United States Constitution and just the whole idea of federalism and the American Republic, and they're going to sort of get together. What was it? One of the founding fathers said, "We must all hang together, or most assuredly, we will all hang separately." And I think that's what she's counting on. And again, as Andy Biggs said earlier today, if 75,000 votes had switched across the country in assorted House districts, Kevin McCarthy rather than Nancy Pelosi would be the House Speaker, and none of this crap would be giving all of us headaches and worrying us. Because the Republicans would control the House. I mean, and again, how did Donald Trump lose the election when they picked up seats in the House? They didn't lose a single Republican seat. The 18 of the 19 so-called bellwether counties went for Trump. The 3 states that a president has always had to take if he's going to be reelected, I think Ohio, Texas, I think it's Texas, and Iowa. They all went for Trump, but yet he lost. How is that possible? Not a single legislative body controlled by Republicans was lost to the Democrats, and there's about 100 of those. How did this? Not all of them are controlled by Republicans, but there are 100 altogether. How did he lose the election like this? How does he get 12 million more votes than he did in 2016. How does he get more votes than any incumbent president ever got? And he still loses the election. These are just questions I'm throwing out there. 844-500-4242. Last summer, I had a dental emergency, and where did I go? Perfect Smiles. I've said this before, but was reminded yet again of what a perfectionist Dr. Houghton is. He is a veneer engineer and a world-class dental artist. Being on TV, it's important that I look my best. Dr. Houghton did that for me, and he can do it for you too. We're in a climate right now where a lot of people don't want to go into the city for whatever reason. Perfect Smiles is conveniently located right off the interstate highway in Nashua, New Hampshire. Parking is plentiful. Parking is free. I was impressed to see all the state-of-the-art safety protocols they've taken since the virus. You'll feel safe and confident when you visit Perfect Smiles. And believe it or not, some of those protocols make it a more pleasurable experience to visit the dentist than it used to be before the panic. To see for yourself and get your perfect smile, call 1-844-A-PERFECT-SMILE or go to HowieCarrShow.com and click on the Perfect Smiles banner. You can also see my video at PerfectSmiles.com. Perfect Smiles. Change your smile, change your life. You can neglect a lot of things in this time, but don't neglect your teeth or you will really regret it. I'm Howie Carr.
You're tuned into the Howie Carr Radio Network.
He is the youngest senator that is going to be running. In his video, he also mentioned he's the only senator that lives in the inner city, and he's an unmarried vegan. So a lot of very unique qualities Cory Booker brings to the table, Kate.
Now, I appreciate the comments of my colleagues. This is about the closest I'll probably ever have in my life to an I am Spartacus moment. I am Spartacus. I am Spartacus.
Joey, you like movies about gladiators?
Have you ever had an LGBTQ law clerk?
I've not been a judge, so I don't have any law clerks.
I'm sorry, someone working for you.
I'm to be honest, I don't know the sexual orientation of my staff.
When Dick Durbin called me, I had tears of rage when I heard about this experience in that meeting. And for you not to feel that hurt, tears of rage.
Would you just stop being so dramatic?
I'm a big believer that if this country hasn't broken your heart, then you don't love her enough.
You've been hearing me talk about Super Beets for a while now, and I'm sure some of you are still thinking, why Super Beets? You could take it from me. The benefits of Super Beets are incredible. I take them twice a day, once in the morning when I get up, even before I have my first cup of coffee, and the other time in the afternoon, right before the show. It gives me a burst of energy. It's great for my blood pressure. It's good for circulation. It just makes you feel better. If that doesn't convince you, we can talk about the science behind Super Beets. Beets have nitrates. Nitrates support better blood flow, and better blood flow equals better energy and efficiency throughout the body and even supports healthy blood pressure. But Super Beets does so much more than eating regular beets and is unparalleled compared to other beet powders. Just one scoop of Super Beets has the nitric oxide equivalent of 3 whole beets. Go to superbeetsradio.com/Howie and try out Super Beets yourself. www.superbeetsradio.com/Howie. www.superbeetsradio.com/Howie. The Moonbats always say Donald Trump isn't very bright. But what about Barack Hussein Obama? Let's listen to some of his greatest hits.
Hey, Howie, I'm looking for the audio. I don't know that I'll be able to get it by the time the show's done, because I guess it just happened. But Biden was talking to one of the NASA engineers and told him that Indian Americans are taking over the country.
You're kidding.
No, it was in the New York Post. They had the story. They had the quote. I'm looking for the audio now.
Okay, let me get the New York Post up, and
he referenced his VP, who's Indian American.
Oh my God. Can you put it back up?
You gotta ask yourself a question. Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk?
The Howie Carr Show.
844-500-4242. You know, we have a congressional delegation. You have Elizabeth Warren. She's trying to put a wealth tax on everybody. She wants to take away 2% of everything you own. She says it's just on multi-millionaires and billionaires, but you know as well as I do, it's on everybody. And you have such people as Richie Neal, who's on the Ways and Means Committee. Oh, the powerful Ways and Means Committee. And and Catherine Clark, she's the number 4 ranking Democrat. She's moving from Colorado and now the near North Shore. She's moving up fast in the Democrat leadership in the House. But yet none of them could do anything when Lockheed Martin Corporation closed its facility in Marion, down in around New Bedford. 400 people lost their jobs or are going to have to move to New York. Marion employees of the Defense Contractors Rotary and Mission Systems Division currently work on undersea programs for the U.S. Navy. In our ongoing effort to drive down costs for customers and increase efficiency and value, we're consolidating some operations in our rotary and mission systems. And apparently they're moving it to New York, believe it or not, New York, which is planning to raise taxes and make them almost as high as they are in California. So Lockheed Martin thinks it's more economical to operate in New York than in Massachusetts. Of course, they were lobbied by Chuck Schumer. No one in Massachusetts apparently could bother. Massachusetts Congressman Bill Keating, a Democrat who represents Marion and serves on the House Armed Services Committee. He's on the Armed Services Committee, so theoretically he has a role in appropriations for this this facility. Did not respond to a call for the request for comment on the closure. Bill Keating, you know what he's more concerned with? He's got not just a salary. He's got a salary of about $180,000. He's got a state pension of $112,000. So what does he care about the 400 people that work in Marion having to move or lose their jobs? He's doing pretty damn well. $180,000 salary as a congressman and $112,000 pension from the state as a former district attorney in Norfolk County. This is from the New York Post. The story just broke. Biden tells NASA engineer Indian Americans are taking over the country. It's amazing, he said. Indian descent Americans are taking over the country. You, my vice president, my speechwriter, Biden told Swati Mohan, NASA's guidance and controls operations lead for the Mars Perseverance rover landing.
We found it.
Here, let's play the cut.
And it's amazing. Indian descent Americans are taking over the country. You, my vice president, my speechwriter, Vinay, I tell you what.
This is the same guy who a few years back, we can find the cut if we have time. We're running out of time here tonight, but he's the same guy who said that it's amazing that in Delaware, you practically have to have an Indian accent to go into, did he say a Dunkin' Donuts or a 7-Eleven? I can't remember which one he said. It's one or the other. But he just keeps making these kind of tone-deaf remarks over and over again.
You cannot go to a 7-Eleven or a Dunkin' Donuts unless you have a slight Indian accent.
You can't go into the place, not work there. You can't go into a Dunkin' Donuts or a 7-Eleven unless you have a slight Indian accent. It's fascinating, isn't it? 844-500-4242. Wonder if they're having a Hazel marathon tomorrow on MeTV that he can watch. What time is the lid going up tomorrow? Russ, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Russ.
First, Howie, here in Massachusetts, we have 11 useless hacks representing us in Washington.
Yes, we do.
Thanks to Massachusetts voter ignorance.
Yes,
now,
I agree.
To President Joey Mamaluke and his followers, doing a risk assessment, supermarket, blue-collar workers providing a necessity of life are much more at risk than school teachers. You think he gives a damn about the blue-collar workers providing food for us? Not one bit.
No. He doesn't. Someone told me today in the 413 area code, I'm looking for it now on the, they said that the teachers were running around high-fiving. I guess, I don't know if the schools were open or what, but they were all high-fiving and they were so happy that they're going to get their vaccines. Are they going to go to the head of the line? What makes them think they're going to get any better treatment than everybody else who's looking for a vaccination? You know, are they going to get like a pass to go to the front of the line because of their very vital, very dangerous jobs? Thanks for the call, Russ. Mark, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Mark.
Hello, Howie. How are you?
Good.
Look, I'm just going to make this quick because I know it's the end of the night. Maybe we could talk about it again tomorrow. But I wanted to say that the border problem is a crisis, correct?
Yes, I agree.
And if I'm a border state governor, I have a responsibility to my people in my state for security and all this other stuff. And I'm sure it's the border is a big thing to do that. So if I'm going to say a governor in Connecticut, and I turn around and say, look, I can't have any more visitors from Massachusetts or New Hampshire come over. We got a bump here and you can't come over. Why can't a governor exercise his right to his people through a state constitution to protect his borders for his people in his country and say, look, I'm closing the borders here.
I don't think you want a battle between the Texas National Guard or the Texas Rangers and the U.S. Border Patrol or ICE, do you? I mean, that's what it would come down to, wouldn't it?
How about appealing to the president from the government and say, look, I have to close my borders because of the security threat and the health threat to my people that are here, whether they're naturalized citizens.
Well, you just heard, you heard, we played the cut from Greg Abbott. That's what he's saying. He's saying, how dare they call me a Neanderthal when they're dumping these illegal aliens that are testing positive with COVID-19 and then giving them bus tickets to the middle of the country. You think Biden cares about that? He looks, it's a positive. They're seeding parts of the country with new Democrat voters, welfare-dependent people. I'm Howie Carr.
Eden Pure's famous BOGO